That shit right there gonna be so clear. Be so clear. Be so clear. That shit right there gonna be so clear. Be so clear. Be so clear. Chill,
Never heartbreaker, taste love, a heart saver, a heartbreaker that awaken his God layer. True art maker, hand solo, no part taker. Walker up on side, my style, I Darth Vader, my cognac, can sit back and sit back. Family doing good in the present, my gift rap, I'm fine. Taking out for the lows, I was used to. Like robbing off a plane, niggas sell trying to boost you. Higher praise of value when the Jews up the top. Guaranteed you get the itis on my food for thought. Just digesting the fact now I got fruits of labor. This melanin pomegranate, I'm your newest flavor. Tell my newest haters, stay with the lesser than, I'm due for greater. Breaking down trees is what I used to do for paper. I look around how it's going right now. I gotta look up and think about like wow. Anyway, I'll fall away when you're finding my way alone. And if your misery love company, I'm staying home. Straight chillin', chillin', straight chillin'. And I fall away when you're finding my way alone. See if your misery love company, I'm staying home. Straight chillin', chillin', straight chillin'.
See little shit like that lets me further know what it is you really do.
Yo. What it do, y'all? What it do, y'all? It's your boy Chill Murray, your host with the motherfucking most. Shout out to everybody tuning in, not tuning in. I done forgot my own goddamn saying. It's been so long, huh? I ain't really got no intro right now because, like I said, I came here to vent tonight. I really came here to vent this evening on this particular matter. Swayze World, what's going on with you? Okay, I'll say my shit. Welcome. It's your boy Chill Murray. You are now tuned in live from the spot. Shout out to everybody tuning in, not tuning in. You know how we doing, how we rock. I had to get it out. I had to get it out. All right. Let us just get into it, right? Because my whole take on this right now, not whole take, but my whole thing on this is we've been told you. That's the first and foremost thing I want to say. We already told you. This nigga did it. We already told you how he did it, who he did it with, when he did it, what was the motive, how much he was paying, was the family involved, we went through it all. Just 6 months ago, we went through it all. Not a wait till he gets charged. Not a let's see what happens. No. We knew what the fuck happened. And we knew what was going to happen. Well, let me also say this. Because I am on record saying that I didn't think he was going to be charged, right? I think now, of course, because it only makes more sense, right? So I am on record also saying that if he is, it is because this employee is being dismissed because he got too loud. The same way Diddy did. When you get too loud, they dismiss you. When what you are doing for us gets too loud in trafficking, we must dismiss you. Sadly, it took 6 months for them to dismiss the nigga, but they dismissed him. And now he got to sit up in court looking like this. But the other thing I want to vent on this, right? Let me get on camera, right? So I had a couple of things I'm going to look at. And a couple things I'm gonna look at, right? So again, I want to say this from the beginning. I'm gonna say this from the beginning. I'm not jealous of anybody. I'm not envious of anybody. I have no quarrels or beef with anybody in this space. I do, however, have somewhat of a problem with certain content creators making new content on this as if the information was new. That part pisses me off. Law and crime doing what they got to do. That's fine. That's fine. I ain't talking about that. Shout out to BJ Investigates, of course. Always shout out to BJ Investigates. Shout out to Down the Rabbit Hole. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Patrick CC. Aside from those three people and me, not one of you motherfuckers should be talking about this or trying to make new content on this. Not one of you motherfuckers. None of you. None of you. Because we've already went down the rabbit hole of what happened. So it fucks me up when I start seeing new shit, when I start seeing new videos about, oh, the parents were paid off or the parents knew. No fucking duh. No fucking duh the parents knew. We showed the transactions between Celeste and David. We showed the transactions that happened between the mother and the other gentleman that got, oh, they didn't have his name, but the gentleman that got on the plane with Celeste. We went through the Discord of David, which I think I need to open that back up this evening. I forgot to prior to the pod. Forgot to open that back up. That's a can of worms in there. That's a giant can of worms in there. But we had went through the David Reddit before. I don't know what's in here now. I know it's a lot more shit in here now. Okay, no, it's still the same stuff from 7 months ago. Unless they made a new one. Yeah, they probably made a new one, but I like how they pretty much just I like how they pretty much just kept everything in here the same way. And they didn't add any more stupid shit. Because it's pretty much when you open this up, this whole thing right here is all FBI would need or LAPD would need to ever do an investigation on him. Just go to this Reddit right here. Like all this shit that's in here, the Discord messages from Celeste when she was in the Discord. This message here, I remember people that actually seen Celeste with David beforehand. So much was in here. The comments on his last TikTok before the body was found. David, what did you do? It was so much, man. It was so much. Well, like I said, I just don't like how people started to make new content on this shit. Like the information wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I get, you get your money, you know what I'm saying? Get your bag, whatever. But just don't try to make $1 off this kid's name, man. Don't try to make $1. Don't try to make a new dollar off this kid dying, yo. Because that's the one of the reasons why I was boycotting even trying to do any content on this or stream on it. But like I said, when I started seeing everybody starting to make new content on this information about it, it's like, yo, what the seriously? And then, like I said, it's the fact that some of y'all acting like the information wasn't already out there and y'all didn't want to do y'all due diligences and do y'all investigations 6 months ago. That's the part that pisses me off. It's like, where were all you content creators that wanted to talk about the David situation 6 months ago when all the information was already laid out on the table? Because even then, we didn't do it for content. We did this shit because we love it. We didn't do this shit for the content. We did that shit to get the information out there, as we always do. Because I wanted my podcast to be, if the feds were to look at my podcast, you could figure out everything you need to know with this investigation just from looking at my shit. Just from watching my shit. You would not even gotta play the whole thing. But like I said, the different information we looked at. Hold on. Yeah, this one right here. Matter of fact, 'cause I don't remember where it I don't remember who it was that we pulled up, but when we pulled up the channeling of her spirit.
That's not love, baby. I promise you.
We had Celeste literally tell us, her spirit herself told us everything that happened. And this is the second one, by the way. This isn't even the first one. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, we read messages. Trying to find. Oh, matter of fact, as I pull it up here, we found out that Lake Elsinore was a spot for human trafficking.
Go to tracks for the LE to my Lake Elsinore. That area is known for parents just letting their little girls run around with older men. It's also a hot.
Says it right there. Plain and day, it's a hot spot for trafficking. Like,
what did I say, y'all? It's there plain as day.
62 views on that, though. I'm seeing niggas with hundreds of thousands of views acting like the information brand new.
So someone actually was able to confirm that
the sister's messages. We found who else had a video on Celeste and her sister's messages about David.
Sister again was, like I said, pimping her out. And then look at these messages views down here. Look at these messages down here from them. This is the sister's account. So this is the sister right here in the dark ones. I'm just going to check up on you. I don't want to talk to anyone, Celeste says. That's it. Okay, yes, of course. But you have to swear you're going to stay safe. Are you still going to talk to David? Or go back with him because I don't want you to get into any more trouble with him? Celeste goes, I'm safe. Then she goes, no, I'm not. Sister goes, okay, I love you. I'll text you in about a week. Don't delete Insta. Love you too, and I won't. That's between the sister and Celeste. The sister knew exactly where Celeste was. As you can see here, the sister, the older sister, knew exactly where the fuck Celeste was. Now, sister going, I made it. It can, and now she's going, Celeste is going, it can bleed and not bleed during sex because you probably did it when you were younger. You don't have to bleed anymore. I didn't because I wasn't horny. You said you bled. What? I thought I did, but I just got my period. Now look into this. I only bled with David. Sister goes, Now listen to this part. Remember the Gustavo Morales guy? With Gus, I was just drunk and did it because he got mad at me the first time. Gustavo Morales, the guy that had raped her the first time, unfortunately. Just me listening back to even reading these messages, it pisses me off again because it's like, yo, we talking about somebody that was 14 years old, yo. 13, 14 years old. Having grown conversations with a sister talking about sex. Like, this is kind of why I didn't want to revisit the shit. Why I named it the way I named it. It's like sick is an understatement when you're talking about this shit. For not having sex with him. I'm not sure what this picture is down here. I wish they would have had the actual picture of that, whatever that was down there. But as you can see here, Celeste even confirms about what happened with Gustavo Morales. In the rape there, pretty much she was drunk and didn't want to get him upset. And the sister, of course, as nonchalant they was talking about it, of course the sister knew. Like, that's the biggest part that gets me the maddest, right? Like, me having to read the fact that her family, like, read actual confirmation that her family knew exactly where she was and what she was doing at 13, 14 years old, B. That's the hardest part to even realize, yo. What should I say? Come to grips with.
Out in California, but this is what took it to a whole different level. This is what raised a.
She's not trying to pause something. I don't want to pause. I swear to God. But listen, yeah. So when we talking about a young child that just got, her parents just had absolute disregard for it. Like, that's the saddest part. Like, can you imagine? Like, to all if you are a mother or father listening right now, I'm pretty sure there's no amount of dollar or anything you could take or receive payment of for your child. It just wouldn't be in you. It is in some people I see. But that's the biggest part that gets me the maddest when everybody's talking about don't blame the parents and get the parents sympathy. Man, fuck that shit. Fuck all that, man. You sold your kid. You sold your daughter to somebody for $10,000, bro. I'm looking right there in the other post. I forgot about this one. This one at least did half or something. Now here goes this right here of Celeste joking about the payment. See what it says down here? Can I please have 10 bands? David, can I please have 10 bands? And as you can see, the sneakers, that's Celeste over there. David there. And she's asking again, David. Like making a mockery of 10K pretty much, unfortunately. See, this is all alleged here, of course. How many racks can I have? Look at this. How many racks can I have? Give me
King Osmond, what's going on?
Now. Cash App 9,000. I can't stop falling for her. This is David's account again. I'm 1,000 short, but who cares? Like, bruh, like how much more do y'all need? How much more evidence do people need, bruh? Would it take 6 months for this shit? That's what gets me the most, yo. Like I said, for everybody to start acting like a lot of this information is brand new. And don't even get me started with this nigga here. The most popular video that took off
right? Out of this whole David situation, the only video that did some numbers was the Jason Noween video of all the fucking videos. Because I kept saying that he knew more than what he was saying, that he didn't see Celeste and all this. That shit, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit that he didn't see Celeste. He definitely saw Celeste. Somewhere, you of course didn't have anything to do with the murder of Celeste. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about you seeing Celeste Rivas around the time she was with David. That is all I was saying. Let me see something. I know he did a response video, not the one that I showed before, but let me see this real quick.
David has been charged by LA with first-degree murder in the killing of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, RIP, a charge that carries a potential sentence of life without parole or death penalty. Oh my God. That's insane. This is a win, bro. It only took 9 months. This not my man's, bro. I don't want to see none of that shit. I already knew when I clicked this link, motherfucker, don't be weird, bro. How many times do I gotta say? Yes, before everything, all the evidence. And I don't know why people make it out to it just being me. Yes, I did defend him, and I regret doing that because obviously after all the evidence, I switched up on him. Yeah, I'm gonna switch up on a murderer? Anyways, RP to Celeste, man.
We're talking about the same video, the same Jason Noween that was in this video. Where Celeste was. Celeste was at the video shoot. But you never seen Celeste. You did 2 video shoots with him. You don't know him, though. You don't know him, though. That's okay. If you couldn't hear me over the noise before, what's up, King Osmond? What's going on? What's going on? All right, so I guess we'll go through, the updates on things, right? Before we go through the past again, go through the updates on it, right?
One crime alert we have to tell you about. Okay, Roblox.
Now you know
Criminal complaint. We learned that 21-year-old singer David was charged in Los Angeles with first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse, and mutilation of human remains, all in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose decomposed and dismembered body was apparently found in the trunk of a Tesla reportedly registered to David. But it was the special circumstances allegations for the murder charge that was truly shocking. This is what can elevate the punishment to life in prison without parole or even the death penalty, even though there's a moratorium on executions out in California. But this is what took it to a whole different level. This is what raised a lot more questions about the case, about the evidence, about what we can expect at an upcoming preliminary hearing, right? That is where the prosecution is going to present evidence to the court to show that they have sufficient probable cause to move forward with this trial, to support the charges. This is different than getting back a grand jury indictment. I've talked a lot about that distinction here. But this is essentially what we're talking about is the why. The why of the alleged killing. You're getting a sense of the motive of the alleged killing. Why would David allegedly want to murder a 14-year-old girl? And to be clear, David is innocent until proven guilty, okay? And his attorneys have said he did not commit this murder. They said he is not the cause of her death. And as we explore the motive here, the best place to start is to go back just a couple days ago when you had Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman talk about the why during that press conference.
First-degree murder with special circumstances. And again, those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular night. The third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste. And the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years old.
So in other words, according to authorities, David was allegedly having an illegal relationship with a minor. She was a witness to illegal sex acts, and she was going to, expose him or threaten him, and he killed her. I wonder if that's a fair interpretation. The question is, what does that mean exactly? Was she going to go to the police? Was she going to post this to social media? How do they intend to prove that? I asked Nathan Hochman about this on my show, Jesse Weber Live on News Nation, and he basically said, I'm not going to get into the details of it. That will be more revealed during a preliminary hearing. But I want to preview what we can expect here, and I want to try to understand.
But you don't really have to get into the details of it because it's very evident. The thing is, she said it on the live. She said it literally on the live stream that he ended because she had said, he's like, I media trained you. And he was like, she responded, what, you raping little kids? And then they start busting out laughing. Yo, end the stream, delete everything. Remember that video? Delete everything. All because she said literally out her mouth, what, you raping little kids? Said that verbatim out her mouth on the stream. So, I mean, it was other girls. That's the other thing that's been evident that people have found now, that there were other girls. We're going to read that article in a second here. They found 30 terabytes. 30 terabytes. You know about gigs and that? Terabytes. 30 terabytes. Bruh, 30 terabytes? You got enough memory to hold all data of the United States in 30 terabytes. You could hold everybody's social media information, pages, pictures, and you could hold entire America in 30 terabytes, my G. What are you doing with 30 terabytes worth of child porn, bro? What are you doing? What is going on out here that you got 30 terabytes of kids in your phone? What is happening?
Understand this, because this is new information. This is a new allegation. And before I even get into that and more, I just have one more update for you. So Celeste's family, who we really haven't heard from in the last 7 months, officially released their first statement. Quote, we would like to thank the Los Angeles Police Department and the District Attorney's Office for their hard work. We would also like to thank the people of Lake Elsinore for all their support. Celeste was a beautiful, strong girl who loved to sing and dance. Every Friday night was movie night, and we spent wonderful times together. We love her very much, and she always told us that she loved us. We miss her deeply. All we want is justice for Celeste. Now, I'm happy they released this statement for a number of reasons. One, it's always good to hear from the family.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
And get their perspective on this. But number two, we haven't heard a lot about Celeste. You know, we talk a lot about her as the alleged victim in this case, but to understand who she was as a person and what she meant, that's something that we just didn't get a lot of information about in the last 7 months. So to provide a...
What information can you get about a child that didn't get to live their life? You can't talk about a life the kid didn't get to live. That's not talked about enough with this. You can't talk about a life that she didn't get to live. Half of her years was spent with this fool. Half of her life was spent with this sicko. The other half was spent in the hood with her parents that didn't give a shit. She didn't have a life to live yet. That is the most fucked up part about this. we didn't get to talk about Celeste. We don't know Celeste because Celeste didn't get to know Celeste.
Window into who she was, and that she's not just, victim number 1 or victim number 2, but this is a real person who had a real life, who had a family and friends and a community that loved her. I think this is very important to analyze and cover. Now I want to talk about the motive here. I want to talk about why would David allegedly want to kill Celeste. So now I want to bring in friend of the show, private investigator Steve Fisher, who has been working on this case from the very beginning. Remember, he has been investigating it because he represents the owner of the property where David had reportedly been staying, near where the Tesla was apparently found. So Steve, thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. I have a lot of questions for you. But since the main theme we're focusing on right now is motive, what is your take on the motive here about Celeste?
I don't want to hear from him. You know why I don't want to hear from him? Because the interview just dropped a couple days ago with Steve Fisher, the official investigator on this whole thing. And I really want to check that out. I started looking at it while I was at Witter, but
wrong.
Whoa.
I'm going to start it over.
What's that? I just want the
Because I didn't get the chance to hear most of it.
Nina just
Smell it. I don't know why he.
Shout out to Gideon Premium for getting this video called through, because this is probably the most informative interview on this entire thing. And of course it's with a fellow YouTuber, because we already know CNN and all the mothers ain't gonna ask the real questions, right?
He didn't just get rid of the body. The only thing I can think of was a trophy of sorts for him.
Do you think the family is as quiet as they are because they knew who David was?
I mean, yes, I have proof that family members have been to that rental house before, have been with David and Celeste. There's evidence that he met her, interacting with her in like a creepy way when she was 12.
So do you think David had help?
I think he had help. I think there's gonna be other people that go down. I think there's gonna be financial transactions that come out in this that are, if this goes to trial, they're gonna show that there were people that were getting money, and it's gonna look really, really bad.
All right, what's good, YouTube? Today, I am joined here by Steve Fisher. He's a private investigator, and more importantly, he is also the one that has been working this David case day in, day out. I'm gonna let him introduce himself and his involvement with the case, but Mr. Fisher, I really do appreciate you coming on my show today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, call me Steve. I appreciate, having me and what you do. Yeah, I'm a missing persons private investigator. I only do missing persons cases, and I'm also very involved in search and rescue. I got involved in the case with Celeste, the owner of the house that David was staying at, and Celeste had visited him and whatnot, got in contact with me, and because he didn't rent the house to David, he rented it to his management.
The house was rented out through his manager, but David was the primary person staying there?
Well, the owner of the house, or the owners, the husband and wife, had no idea who David was.
Which we already know. I don't mean to keep pausing this. I'm pausing a lot, probably, but we already know the manager was the owner of the house.
The lease says it's for the exclusive use of Josh Marshall, his manager. So they had no idea that they didn't know, first of all, they didn't know who the singer David was. And
who I think should be investigated. I think Josh Marshall should be investigated. I keep saying that.
And they live out of state, and they didn't know that somebody else was living there. So this, all of a sudden, their house is involved in a search warrant, and all this, this tragic event happens to this teen losing her life. And they wanted to understand, what had happened, because LAPD wouldn't give them any answers. And so that's kind of how I got involved.
Celeste's family never got in touch with you to find her before. The only reason why you got involved was because the owners of the house had cops coming through their house, investigating stuff, and they just didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, no, I've never been in touch with her family. I've tried. I didn't want to push them hard, though, so I haven't really followed up more. But yeah, so the owners were very, it's never had anything to do with value of the house or loss of value or anything. It's had to do with, they wanted to understand what happened there, because they have kids around that age, and they wanted to know if, on even a spiritual.
Imagine that. The lead investigator on this whole thing, Steve Fisher, has still never talked to the parents. Imagine that.
level, if they could go back in that house, it is really hard for them to fathom, if it happened there, or even in fact, even if it didn't happen there, just the fact that it's tied to it, they have some real decisions to make. And they're from out of the country, and so they don't really understand the laws and everything. So they said, listen, we want to find out what happened. They wanted to know what the truth was, and they wanted to make sure that Celeste, got justice if she needed to get justice. Because remember, at that time too, they're telling us there might not be any crime here beyond concealment of a body, which was never true. I don't know why LAPD came out and said that, but they were making it sound like this might have been like an overdose or something, and they made a bad decision. There was nothing like that. It was never anything like that. This was a guy who's a predator. I don't know why it took this long to get where we're at. I'm glad there's finally Pierce justice is coming, and it doesn't seem like there was this real urge. It wasn't like maybe
a sense of urgency.
Yes, exactly.
The house that David was renting at, that the owners hired you, Celeste has been to that house, correct?
She has, yeah.
Was that the house that they're presuming that all of this went down at?
It's the house that, when they say, she was lured to, I'll tell you this, we don't know exactly where it happened. But we're trying to figure that out, and we're also trying to find out where, the murder weapons may be. And not only the murder weapon, but also the dismemberment tools that were used.
After all of this started coming out, was David still tied to that house?
No, so as far as we know, the way it happened was David was on tour when this news broke, even of the car being, LAPD initially being called to the tow yard because of a foul smell and flies circling the car. He was on tour, and so it came out that, hey, there's been a body found in a car that's registered to David. They had no idea, the public had no idea that it was Celeste. People in his Discord had a good idea who it was, though. He continued on with his tour. It wasn't until they identified her as Celeste, who was a documented missing person out of Lake Elsinore, which is like 80 miles away from LA, that they finally called the tour off. But he just kept plugging away. He never made a comment about it. The only comment they made was his press people said that they were cooperating with LAPD, which they never were, which we come to find out they never were. That was.
And see, I'm glad that information came out that was a complete lie, because that would have looked so bad on the LAPD if he was supposedly cooperating in the beginning and now he's getting charged with you know what I mean? It would have already looked like, hey, we just need you to put all your shit away, get your hide all that shit before we come get you in the next coming months. That's what it would have sounded like had that actually been true. And for all we know, it still could be true,
A lie. They just wanted to keep going, and it did keep going. And then when they did call it off, he's never made a comment, and he was never seen in public again. He was in West Hollywood, very close to.
Did he go back to the house that the manager had rented, or did he go somewhere?
Now, see, pay attention to that, right? And this is the key part right here. I literally just said this shit, right? See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Be shit like that. I just said it, didn't I? It sounds like, if that were to be true, you gave him time and said, yo, get quiet. Get your evidence away. Sweep up. Clean up. Hide shit. Move shit. Do what you got to do. Go on tour. Get your money lawyer up. All that. We gonna come get you soon. I'm telling you now, we coming to get you. So get your shit together before we come get you. And then what the fuck is in his next sentence? Oh, all of a sudden he got quiet. He started moving around. They tipped him off.
Somewhere else.
So what happened was, after she was identified, they served a search warrant. LAPD served a search warrant on the house the next day. I believe it was September 17th. His management contacted the owner and basically said they were breaking the lease. They were going to have the movers come the next day, which they did, and they came and they grabbed certain things, but they left a lot behind. And they basically then said, anything that's left behind, just do what you want with. We're out. He's never seen again. Now we find out that he was in another rental house just a few miles away.
What a lot of people are kind of confused with, and I was hoping that you could kind of break down better for us, is the car was reported to be a couple blocks away from his house. That house, it was it the house that the owners that you work with had? Okay, so
whenever I say the house, I'm talking about my client's house, which is some people call the mansion or whatever. It's the only house that we were aware of at the time that he was living in. Now there is a house before the lease started, which he did that famous live stream from, the delete everything. When it's less than that one. That was actually filmed.
So
in
was
a
that
house.
Celeste? Because a lot of people say that was the other Celeste in that. So that live stream, that was Celeste in that live stream where
The one where she talks about R-ing kids, and he says delete everything. That's Celeste.
Do you know when that stream had happened?
Gosh, if I remember right, that was like January of 24. That was right before she ran away the first time.
Okay.
Might have the date off by a little bit. And then right after that is when she starts running away. And she has these series of runaway events. But it was no secret that she was with him. In fact, somebody close to the situation, her family, the school.
I'll correct one thing. That's the second time she ran away, because we looked at the timeline of that. If it's 2024 we talking about, that's the second time she ran away. It's the second time. It's not the first time. It's the second time.
Where she was wrote his management by email and said, paraphrasing it, there's a rumor that David might be involved in the disappearance of 13-year-old, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. If that's true, please make sure she gets home quickly. And she got home. She arrived the next day. And that email was received by his management company, and they did send it to him. I have proof of that. He was aware of it. So then she arrives back home, but then she runs away again. He was grooming her. He's a predator. This is not the only girl he was involved with that was underage. When Celeste ran away on Valentine's Day, she showed up in the area. Oh, this is the exact same day that they're actually taking possession of the new house that they rented, my client's house.
Yes, sir.
Of course, my client doesn't. My client thinks it's Josh Marshall, his manager, but they take possession of it. So on that day, he's got Celeste runs away that day, and she's at the old house, the one where they did that live stream, delete everything, and he's got another minor at the new house, a mile and a half away, and I've got pictures of that. So that can be.
This is kind of all new about there being like a new minor. If you can reveal, how old was this other minor that David was dealing with?
She was 16 and 17.
She was 16.
This was going on for a while.
that's it, water. This it, water. This it, water. This it, water. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Yeah, that's it, water. This it.
Y'all could have told me I was muted. God damn it. Y'all could have told me I was muted. Yes, I was muted. I had to look at my chat. I had to look at my chat for a second on my phone. I was like, wait a minute, I'm muted. Anyway, yeah, I was trying to say that I was trying to find that the whole damn time. I was trying to find yeah. Pretty much this is the video of the other minor that they were talking about, the 16, 17-year-old. But she looked exactly like Celeste.
Yeah, that's it, water. This it, water. This it, water. This it, water.
Wow, you look good.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Yeah, that's her with the glasses. Artemis Flair, what's going on, my brother? Thank you. But yeah, that's her right there. That's the other 16, 17-year-old that he had at the other house that Steve is talking about.
I believe it goes back to when she was 16, 17 for sure. But he knew, she was underage, and listen, it's kind of the same MO. It's kind of the preying on those that he can manipulate out of their environment. And there's others. There's another one too. So I mean, and I guarantee that there's I mean, I can't guarantee, but
no, I mean any predator. They're always going to have multiple victims. Yes.
There's ones that I don't know about.
Yeah.
When I was in court yesterday, when I happened to be looking right at David, he was seated kind of in front of me, and they brought him in an orange jumpsuit, and they sat him down at the table with his lawyers, and they handcuffed him to the table. I didn't know what was coming out of the prosecutor. And I happened to be looking at him because I was like, man, he looks so different. He does not look like, David, the artist. He looks, he just doesn't look the same. And so I was looking at him, and then they were talking about when discovery, which is all the evidence.
No, you can go ahead and say it. He ain't look like the punk ass R&B singer. He looked like the sicko he was. He looked like the grown ass weird sick motherfucker he is.
The stuff is going to be delivered to his lawyers, and and the prosecutor comes out, and I don't know. I don't want to get you dinged off. No.
It's literally say like you can you can
say that. Okay. So she comes out and says, Your Honor, one of the biggest issues is that there on his phone there was a voluminous amount of child porn. Proper word now is CSAM, right? And but she went child porn, and then she goes, and because of this child porn, I mean, she said child porn 4 times in a row. It was very intentional. You had to let him know. We know. He just stared straight ahead. He wasn't like, he didn't turn to his lawyer and like, what the hell? He knew, like, I think he knows that they got him dead to rights right now. So, but she made it sound like there's a lot on there. So I don't think it's just Celeste. I don't think it's just Celeste and this other minor that I'm talking about. I think that there's going to be a lot that he actually.
We're talking about an employee for human trafficking. Of course. There were more. Man's an employee and a recruit. Of course, this will never happen, but I keep saying, I'm waiting for them to say something about Benny Blanco, but I know they never will. If you remember why with Selena Gomez and Honey and the Kidney, when Celeste Spirit literally told us what it was over and who was there. Okay, so we already know we're not going to hear about nothing with Benny Blanco getting arrested, right? Allegedly.
Was in communication with, and I think there's going to be probably a lot of that material that he sought out on the internet.
Back to the timeline. So I didn't know this. So it was January 2025 when that live stream happened, or 2024?
Well, she'd been gone well over a year when this was going down. I believe that live stream was 2024, January 2024. Then she starts. Then in February, is when and then there's Runaways, and then getting into around Valentine's Day, she runs away again, and then it's a year. It's well over a year that she's gone before we now know that this happened, according to prosecutors, in April of 2025. So she's gone a very long time. And that's been the whole thing, is piecing this together. Where exactly was she? Because we didn't really have evidence that we had evidence that she had been to the house, but not that she was like living at the house. And David would travel a lot for concerts or whatever, and nobody would stay there. So we're like, where was she in all this time? And then we find out that she wasn't truly a runaway. That's the part that's upsetting to me too, is that her family knew where she was, and she'd shown up for like her cousin's high school graduation. She showed up at a family event. There's a video out there of her arguing with the next door neighbors in the apartment complex next to her house, all while she's supposedly a missing person. And so it's all very frustrating. There's a lot of things, a lot of failures.
Apparently you can go from 0 to a complete site in just a single prompt with Wix Harmony. I don't know if this is going to be possible.
Around her.
So real quick, I just want to say, reason why I didn't download no videos. I was trying to do YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium had a $0 down trial for a month. Tried to buy it. Shit said you're declined. Insufficient funds. Bitch, if you $0 today, why are you trying to take any funds out of my account? So I tried to get YouTube Premium. Just long story short. But like what he's saying right here, the family knew where they were. Like, we just went over the messages just recently of the sister knowing where she was, the mom knowing full damn well where she was, collecting payments. I'm just waiting for him to say it. I'm waiting for him to say it.
And I understand she's probably a handful. I get that. But the thing is, she's a kid. That's part of being a parent. She needed direction, She needed like a direction in life. And it's not okay. They knew who he was. And it's just, I don't care how rich he is. I don't care how famous he's becoming. I don't care he's living in a mansion and he can afford to support her. It's not okay. She's 13, 14 years old at this time. It's never okay.
What I found interesting about this case is you would think a lot of people close to him would be coming out saying things like, hey, this was weird and stuff like that. But you really haven't been seeing that. The prosecutors are saying that they've gotten people to corroborate. They said they have some people that are more difficult. Do you personally think, or do you know, like, actually, that people knew her age and just didn't say anything about it?
100%. Listen, in that Discord of his, there's...
Thank you. Thank you. Because that is the part that fucking pisses me off the most. Y'all knew that girl was underage. Y'all knew she shouldn't have been there. Yet you still had her around. They got pictures of her with the management. With David's record label staff. They got pictures of her with his family. With David's family. What do you mean? They got pictures of David with the mom going to see. Nigga, what? At what point was somebody gonna say, hey, this shit shouldn't be happening? Don't give a fuck how much money I was getting paid. This shit shouldn't have been happening.
There's people openly talk about it. They're like, hey, are you still going out with the underage girl? Are you still there talking about Epstein Island? Are you and Celeste going to Epstein Island? Like, it's crazy how open it was. Not a secret, and the people close to him in his orbit, listen, they knew. I mean, there's live streams where, not just the one with Celeste, but there's ones where he's talking to these two super young girls on like I don't know what platform it was, but he's talking to them, and his friend Asia Collins is behind him, and he's laughing about the age of these girls, and he's gooning, and it's just, it's really frustrating because they have not, they didn't race forward with information. They waited to the last minute to save themselves. All of a sudden, we find out one of his friend Neo has to be arrested to be brought in front of the grand jury. That's not how it should be. You shouldn't be. I don't care how close you were with this guy. If you got information, we're talking about a child. I mean, there's evidence that he met her, was interacting with her in a creepy way when she was 12.
You posted something I think that is great on your feed where you showed a timeline that you believe what happened, because the prosecutors said, and correct me if I'm mistaken, they believe that the murder happened April 23rd, 2025, right?
Yep.
Can you explain to us why they think that was the day she was murdered? And can you explain the timeline of from that day until September 8th when her body was found? Do you think that he left her in the Tesla the whole time? Do you think her body was stored somewhere else and he just kept on moving the car? Why do you think he didn't try to dispose of the body? If you can, could you give us that whole timeline and everything? Because I think that was the best thing anyone's ever put out, where it's something we could visually see.
Yeah, and a lot of this I'm just never going to understand, right? Even what was going on in his mind. But so there's two dates that they put out there. April 23rd, they believe is the day she was lured to the house, and then some point shortly after killed with a sharp object, they're saying. And then May 8th, is either the 5th, or they have to look at the timeline, to be honest with you, is when they're saying she was dismembered. You got this gap in time where did he store her? Because you're going on a week and a half, and that's the point of building that timeline. The timeline only focuses on this time period between the April 23rd and May when he dismembers her. And what we're trying to do is just find out what his movement was, for one, in that time period, and also kind of what his mental state, at least public facing, was. And we've started to compile. Then we learned, well, April 23rd is when they announced Wither Tour is happening. He had just gotten done with Coachella a couple days earlier. He's at Coachella, and then they announced the Wither Tour the Withered album is dropping. And so on the 24th, they have so we're talking just hours after he would have killed.
So yes, absolutely. They absolutely were. They absolutely were getting hush money. $10,000 payments, $9,000 payments, $5,000. We saw $4,500. We saw all of them. Different payments. Going to Celeste, talking about she missing. She wasn't missing. She was bought. That's what I said. I'm waiting for him to say it still.
Killed her. They have a album release party here in LA. On the 25th, he heads out to New York for a 3-day band lab pop-up in New York City. And then he goes to Houston, to his hometown in Houston.
Wait, he's from Houston?
He's from Houston, yeah.
Wow, I'm from Houston. I'm here, right? I didn't even know that.
So then he goes to Houston for a couple of days, and so he's moving on. I'm talking, he has if prosecutors are correct about the 23rd being the day, and I believe they are because there's somebody that obviously gave them the information. Then within hours, he's fine. He's in a mindset where he's like, I'm ready to go to the party. I'm ready to go to New York. It's not affecting him. Now, we do see, it's kind of like this, almost like an adrenaline rush.
Did y'all catch what he said right there? He said it real nonchalant, too. I just said this real APD.
Hours after he would have killed her, they have a album release party here in LA. On the 25th,
listen close to what he says.
He heads out to New York for a 3-day band lab pop-up in New York City. And then he goes to Houston, to his hometown in Houston.
Wait, he's from Houston?
He's from Houston.
Look at the pattern. You purposely went back home.
as if you knew you were going to be arrested soon. You went back home.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm from Houston. I'm here, right? I didn't even know.
Wasn't just a tour stop. You went back home. Right after the body was found, you went back home.
So then he goes to Houston for a couple of days, and so he's moving on. Like I'm talking, you know, he has a. If prosecutors are correct about the 23rd being the day, and I believe they are because there's somebody that obviously gave them the information.
There's somebody there that obviously gave him the information.
Then within hours, he's fine. He's in a mindset where he's like, I'm ready to go to the party. I'm ready to go to New York. It's not affecting him. Now, we do see, it's kind of like this, almost like an adrenaline rush. There's all these posts and he's playing these shows and these pop-ups. But then there's like this crash. He goes somewhat, a lot more silent, you know, after the dismemberment. And he goes to Seoul, Korea for pop-up, and he's in Malaysia. It's really wild to see that. So, yeah, so to get back to your point, so there's the murder and the dismemberment, and that. So our big questions are: where did he murder her? Where did he then store her for those 10 days or so until he dismembered her, 10 days or more? And then why does she end up in the Tesla? And why does she stay in the Tesla in his neighborhood? When I started interviewing, with, you know, before we knew all these data points, I was interviewing obviously neighbors, asking for video surveillance and whatnot. And, you know, the people right across the street, directly across the street, and this is a neighborhood with very large houses and big yards and security systems and everything like that. And I was over at the house directly across the street, which is owned by a producer, and I was dealing with his estate manager. And she said, you know, one of the dogs, so the property, it's a big property, and their fence line butts up to the road. David would often mostly time park the Tesla on their property line, you know, off to the side of the road. So it butted up to their yard. And she said, you know, we started getting this horrible smell, and we had one of the dogs had died, and they had buried the dog in the backyard, and it was like a husky, it was a larger dog. And she's like, you know, anytime it would get over to be like 75, 76, 77 degrees, the backyard would smell.
Like the body got cut up next morning, got sent to the parking lot. That shit was on the block in the neighborhood. From what he's talking about, for a couple, never got 7. How long was that shit? How long was she in there? What you mean? Whenever it got 70 something, they smell something, bruh. That she was there for a couple of weeks before she got to the parking lot. That's crazy.
You know,
so
that
when the Tesla got moved, did that smell go away, and was the dog still buried?
And, yes, and they're not thinking like, oh, the Tesla just went away and now it doesn't smell. They don't know, they're like, why it comes and goes. And it's not until after they find out, oh, there's a body in the trunk of the Tesla. It's like, oh my God, the Tesla was, you know, and they have it on surveillance, you know, of the Tesla coming and going. So at times, so if they smell it, then he really can smell it, especially at the house, because it's like a multi-story house, and there's live streams that he does where a makeup artist is like, oh, what's the smell, you know, and they just kind of like.
When was these live streams like dated around?
He live streamed from the house a lot, and so it was just like him and his friends, and they're filming something or whatever. There's a makeup artist.
And this is the same house that.
Same house.
So. There was streams where the makeup artist would complain about a smell from the house.
Yeah, and so what it is most likely is it's coming from the Tesla and just going up through the windows up in the 3rd floor, and they're up in the master bedroom's bathroom when this happens, and he blames it on, I went to the bathroom, you know, but the whole thing is so wild. Like, if you dismember somebody, I know you never have. I'm just saying, but if somebody dismembers somebody, you think they'd go ahead and just get rid of them, right? Like, if they didn't do it at the house, if they did it somewhere, and I think they did do it somewhere else, I think he had to have refrigerated her.
When you said they, so do you think David had help?
I think he had help. I don't think he can do it by himself. I'm not saying in the murder itself, but I do think in the dismemberment, or at least the moving around, I think he had help. So, and I think people are going to fall for that. I think there's going to be other people that go down. I don't know why he didn't just get rid of the body. And that'll always be, I don't think he'll ever say why he did it, and I don't think it'll ever come to that. But I think that the only thing I can think of was a trophy. of sorts for him. And I don't, because listen, it's not that hard to go, you can drive 5 miles from that house and you'd be on Pacific Coast Highway and just let that Tesla go off into the ocean, off a cliff, or have somebody steal it and get rid of it, whatever, have it gone forever. He kept it in the neighborhood. He was moving it around when he dismembered her. He started. People had reported to us that they noticed that it started being parked in different locations starting in May. He's keeping it close by, and then he goes on tour and just leaves it there. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking.
Not only that, are y'all listening to this? He keeping the body around. That means you going outside to the car, getting stuff from the body. Or doing stuff with the body. And you know what I mean? Like you riding around with it in the car. Like or her in the car. I said it. Sorry. Oh, so sorry. You riding around with her body parts in the car. It wasn't like I said, you did it and then put it in the trunk, got to the parking lot. You was riding around with her in the car. What? This is why I titled it what I titled it before. Sick is an understatement with this shit.
Thinking there's got to be some sort of trophy thing, because there's plenty of opportunities to get rid of that car.
With it being a Tesla, like what I'm thinking they can do is they could probably. What do you? I don't know if you know this information, but was the Tesla dead when it got towed to the tow yard?
Yeah, so I don't know for certain. I think it was, though, and it appeared that Sentry mode was probably turned off, because it doesn't appear that they got any meaningful data from the car itself as far as the cameras or anything like that, because otherwise it would have been an immediate arrest. I do think, because of the length of time, the car was most likely probably bricked, but I can't say for sure. I don't think that there was a key with it. I think they had a force entry, and I don't know. Actually, it was going up for auction. He had never picked it up. LAPD processed it. They only kept it 2 days. They put it back in the impound yard, and I was watching it, and it was racking up daily fees, and then it had gotten to be like 3 months, and they finally put it up for auction. And it was supposed to go to auction like 8:30 in the morning, and a month or two, about 6 weeks ago or something, and I was going to go inspect it because they have an open inspection, and then at like 10 o'clock at night, it switched where somebody had come and with a power of attorney signed by him and a cashier's check and paid to get it out, and then they went to DMV immediately and put it into somebody else's name.
So wait, somebody from his team bought the car?
I don't know I don't know if it's his team. It's obviously somebody he knows in some way, or his lawyers do, or his management does, because he gave.
That's not possible, bro. The shit is already a seized vehicle and part of evidence in a fucking investigation, and someone was able to take the car and put it in their name. What? Do y'all hear that? If that don't scream inside job, I don't know what else does. The car is part in an investigation now. What do you mean his label put it in someone else's name? Huh? See what I mean?
Him a signed power of attorney in order to get it out of the impound yard, paid for it, and then they took it. And then I ran across it about 2 weeks ago. I ran across it outside of a Tesla body shop in South LA, and it's sitting out there. It's been washed, but it's I don't know what's going on. That whole thing's so weird and creepy. I don't get it.
I think that's what a lot of the people are like, because I was talking to a dude yesterday where he thinks David was framed. And his whole thing was, how could David be that stupid to leave the body in the car when the car is to his name and everything? But it's like the dude, something Wayne, the clown killer, when he would kill people, he would put them right underneath his house. And or Jeffrey Dahmer. He would put people right in his fridge, and so it's just like when people kill people, you can't ration. Because I hit him with that same logic. What rational man who's a multimillionaire can have almost any girl he wants of age would go after a little girl? And he couldn't answer that.
It's like it's just not enough for them, I guess, in their sick, twisted, mindset. And listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. As an investigator, I'm very much an Occam's razor type of guy. I'm like the simplest explanation usually is the way these things go. But I'll tell you, it's hard to get around the fact that his lyrics and everything. I can understand a couple songs, like okay, like these are things you sing about that are, whatever. It seems very, very like this was his world. This like his lyrics talking about, like I have text messages he sent to the girls of dismembered, anime stuff, but it's dismemberment. He was into dismemberment.
I mean, the biggest one is the fact that the song came out around Celeste's birthday called Romantic Homicide. I think that was the biggest, we have a weirdo here. Red flag you could have gotten. Romantic Homicide? And then majority of your shit, even the video is centered around, like all of your videos are surrounded around you killing somebody, and there's like, dog, like you was just into some weird ass shit. David was into some weird ass shit.
It's just
so he was sending the other minors he was talking to. He was sending dismembered animes to them.
I'm not in the anime world, so if I say the terms wrong or whatever, forgive me. But it was these anime characters with their arms pulled off, and you could see like they would show the like dismembered arm, like detached. It's just crazy sick stuff. And this is before this all happened, obviously. But now looking back, you're going, wow, this is consumed this guy. This was like. This was his thing. This was his kink or whatever. This guy had everything. Like if he went to like I don't like he was a young guy. Listen, he's talented. You can't say he's not a talented singer, right? And the world and he just overwhelmed him somehow. Like this became more important. I don't understand like what it was he was trying to get out of life or whatever. Like this is what the kind of people like never get a shot like this, right? Like people that have that kind of talent, so many of them are just you never even know they're out there because they never get the shot. And this guy gets the shot, and what does he do? He takes the life of a little girl who didn't get to take her shot yet. You know what I mean? And never will get to. And who knows what she could have been? Who cares if she was anything? She became anything, but she's a human being, and he treated her like he owned her, like she was his. And then when he wasn't happy with whatever, or he felt that she was going to harm his career, he didn't just kill her, but he cut her apart.
Can you explain to us why they charged him with killing a witness? So are they saying that she was a witness because she was wanting to come forward? Or was there already an ongoing investigation before that she was a part of, and with her being killed, they could charge him with that?
So it's kind of both. She can be a witness to a crime against her, and now she's not here to be able to do that, to be given that opportunity. So it's killing a witness. However, several months ago, when they did that live stream with Celeste, that delete everything, we knew that it was at this other house, which is also on the same street. It's called Doheny, but it's in a different part of Doheny. It's by coincidence on the same street. So that house where that happened, I actually, that's under the jurisdiction of the West Hollywood Sheriff's Department. And so I went to West Hollywood Sheriff and I said, hey, can I get any investigative files that have to do with a runaway or harboring or any type of event at that house for the time periods of 2023 to 2025. And they came back and said, we do have investigative files that involves a minor, but they're under seal because of an ongoing investigation, and you need to contact the Riverside County Sheriff's Department for more details because they're the investigative lead on it. Now, that's the agency out in Lake Elsinore. So that's the agency, and we had heard that they had actually picked her up once out there at that house. So I do think, and I'm positive that they interviewed David. They talked to David, and they didn't do anything about it, but they talked to him. But I do think that there was some sort of investigation going on.
And this is before she was murdered.
This is before she was murdered. And so that was ongoing. And then all of a sudden this happens. Now, it doesn't mean that there was this, like, they were going, like, listen, she ran away again. She was in his company a lot of the time. So they weren't investigating it thoroughly. But the fact is there was an open investigation. So she was a witness to that. And I'm sure they'd gotten a statement from her like, hey, what were you doing there? Why were you with, how'd you meet him? Whatever.
So here's the other part to that, right? Think about this, right? He just said it. They interviewed David, not interview. They talked to David. They pick her up from that house with him there, right? You can imagine how that conversation goes, right? Oh, it's no problem, officer. She's just a friend of family. She's just chilling with me. I know the parents. Got the wind with the silence on that and the tension. All he would have had to say was, it's okay. I know her parents. Oh, it's okay if you call them real quick? Sure, no problem. Calls the parents up, get the okay. She's back there. The thing is, excuse me, this is where you start to say, okay, how many people were A, in on this shit? B, how many different people were getting paid off for this shit?
So she's a witness. So he killed a witness, and it doesn't mean that there was charges filed yet, but she was a witness in an investigation. So, and not only that, but she can also be a witness. She's now no longer able to be a witness into the investigation into what's happening now.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
I hate that.
Because he killed her.
So with that continuous sexual abuse is charge that he got, is that only for Celeste, or would they also be doing that for the minors that you're in contact with that he was talking to?
We don't know. I can say that I'm pretty confident it does not involve the minor that I'm in talks with, just because I know what her communication with law enforcement has been and the DA's office, and it's been very, very minimal. If they were going to charge him with her, I think there would be more communication, like, okay, are you sure you're willing to testify, or should we do this by written statement, or whatever it may be? And so I think I can't answer your question. I have a feeling it's just going to be for Celeste for now, but I don't know. Like, listen, there's two things that I think are important. It's all important what came out at the hearing the other day, but two things to really keep an eye on is, one, the wiretap, because although states can do wiretaps, it's usually a federal thing, because it's people talking across state lines, and that includes images being sent and whatnot. And then also the CCM material, usually the feds get involved in that. So I would not be surprised to all of a sudden see a federal charges come down on him too in short term.
So what would the federal charge be that they could get him on?
Possession of child, because they didn't charge him with like possession of child pornography and distribution and stuff like that. And those would be just a stack on top.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't hold the one's kind of the longest sentence obviously will be the death penalty eligible case of murder, but it needs to be done, because we need to make it known that this just can't happen. I mean, it's crazy that this is still, these guys are still going after these kids. These are kids. Let them live their life. Let them go and play with other 13-year-olds and do stupid kid shit that makes you what you are. Like, you know what I mean? They should not be making adult decisions of like, am I going to be going over and having sex with him tonight? Am I going to be going to a party, to a record release party? No, go play on the swings and shit. Like, let them do. I mean, we just can't like. We need to clobber these guys, and it happens to boys too. I mean, these predators. We need to eliminate. That's what we need to do, you know. And I just saw something go by too. I can't really read it as fast, but something about the parents. Listen, I agree. The parents need to be held accountable.
I was just about to ask that, because one thing about the parents is, usually they don't always have to say something, you know what I mean? The family has to grieve, but I feel like this is one of those cases where the only statement I know that's out there is that the mother just said that she had a boyfriend named David. That's the only statement from the family that I've ever heard that is verified from them. So my question was gonna be do you think the family is as quiet as they are because they knew who David was and they knew who she was going to, and you don't really see too much of an intervention between them?
I mean, yes, I have proof that family members have been to that rental house before. I've been with David and Celeste.
Wait, her family has been to his house?
Family members. Listen, one of the first things I put down in this case was we know that David and Celeste were at Six Flags on a certain date, and we found a Build-A-Bear certificate from the Build-A-Bear place in Six Flags in her cousin's name at the house.
Well, isn't that something? You heard it for your own ears. The parents even went to the house where she was at. Missing? Missing where?
House. So it's wait a minute. So she wasn't really missing. You want to know, in my opinion, what the missing persons report was about? It was to cover their ass so CPS didn't come in and say, hey, she's not going to school. What's up? If she's a missing person, you say she's not going to school because she's a missing person. Then you don't have CPS in your life at that moment. And I sympathize. I know that they're grieving. I know they lost a daughter, but goddamn, she shouldn't have been allowed to be. She was gone a year and a half, man. A year and a half. Somebody should have said, maybe we shouldn't be letting Celeste live her own life like this. I don't care how much money he has, how famous he is. Maybe in some cultures they don't think that's that huge of an age gap. I don't care. These are the laws that you've agreed to live under, and she's 4. She was not 15 like it says on her death certificate. She turned 15 the day before she was found in the Tesla. She'd been in that Tesla a long time. She was 13 and 14 years old when this was happening, and she should have been in school. She should have been, playing video games with her friends and being listen. She'd only been a teenager for less than a year. I mean, think about that. I mean, it was her first year when this started happening, her first year being a teenager. This isn't a girl that was, about to turn 18.
So could you see...
There needs to be accountability.
Well, what with the charge? Could you see potential charges being pressed on the parents?
I think it's too high profile of a case, right? So they're going to say, oh, shit, if we do that, we're going to have a certain amount of the people that are going to be like, I don't care if what they did is wrong. You got to give them some space because they're a grieving family, and they are, but they've also got to be like, hey, we messed up, we messed up. And listen, there is, I think there's going to be financial transactions that come out in this if this goes to trial, they're going to show that there were people that were getting money, and it's going to look really, really bad.
So, oh my gosh, man, I did not. Because I was under the impression that they might have known that she was with him, but there wasn't anything. But you have verifiable evidence to show that. And when you say family members, you don't have to disclose who, but are these adult family members that would have a say in her life?
Yeah. Now, the one, and her name's already been put out there, Esmeralda, is a cousin who was a senior in high school, but I'm not so much blaming her. But the thing is that Esmeralda's parents, who would be her aunt and stuff like that, knew. Listen, I have other proof I can't disclose, but yes, there was adults. There was several people in her family that knew. Listen, her mom admitted she knew she was dating a guy named David, and she said, "Oh, I didn't really." She knew who it was. I mean, he would come out there and pick her up, in the Tesla, and they knew she'd been found there, before. Police knew that she was with him at some point before that, because listen, the person that sent the email to his management saying, you know, word is that she's with David. If that's true, please make sure she comes home. You know, she's 13 years old. They only knew to send that to his manager because it was no secret in Lake Elsinore where she lived that she was with David, the singer.
That email, is that an email that you can't release out there just yet?
No, I have released it. It's out there.
Could you send me that email so I can show my audience? Because I have not heard anybody report on an email being sent. So just for you guys that don't understand, what Mr. Fisher is saying is that
Steve.
Steve. So was it the school or was it who was it that sent the email to the manager?
So I can't disclose who sent it. I've disclosed the email with the person's name redacted from it, and I'm looking for it here. I don't know if I have it on this case file or not, but what it says is an email sent to David at mogul.vision. Mogul Vision is his management. His manager's name, Josh Marshall, has a company called Mogul Vision. And so it was sent to David at mogul.vision, which is the email address. And it just said something, paraphrasing, rumor is that Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who's 13 years old, maybe with the singer David. If this is true, please make sure she gets home safely. Her family misses her. Something that's very close to what it said. And she showed her up the next morning. So they got it. And I know David got it. I know for a fact. Again, I can't say why without disclosing, because then he would kind of be able to figure it out, and the person's worried about it. But it was sent to David from his management company, and they're like, "Hey, yo, you know, so you know." And he then forwarded it to some people. But that was sent by a concerned person in the Lake Elsinore community that knew. You know, it's one of those communities where people know each other, and especially around her school. It was not a teacher, but I will say it's somebody connected to the school. And
okay, I think is this the email right here? I'm gonna share my screen. So you posted this on your Twitter, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna share.
Yes, that's it. And they included a picture, the missing persons flyer in it as well.
So this is the email that was sent to.
That's
David's
February
management.
19th of 2024. I mean, this is how long
She was 13 at this time.
Yes, and the thing is that like people knew she was with David. This is back in 2024. This is a year before, more than a year before we would even have, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't until September of 2025 that she's found. So all the way back in February of 2020.
Yeah, so there was a video also, right? Too much reality. What's going on? Said some cultures don't view certain ages too young. That's very true. As far as I know about the case, her parents trusted the individual because he gave them money. I can't accept they were that naive. Me neither. I agree with you on that. I can't accept the fact that they would just, take payment for their daughter like that. That's what I'm saying. There's no amount of money that person could pay to just sell their child. I know there's a lot of parents that listen to the pod. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all would never accept any dollar amount to, for your child of any kind. You know what I mean? For any situation. And yeah, in some cultures it's very common. I forgot what country it was that it's legal for them to have children at like 15 to 16. I forgot what country it is, but yeah, in some countries it's actually very common that young children or young girls be with older men. It's actually they're married off to some of these older men, from birth, unfortunately, in some cases. But in this particular situation, this was a family in poverty, that was just looking for just looking to make a dollar, and unfortunately they were making those dollars off of their child. And what made it even worse and made it even more sickening was the sister, of course, just checking in on the sister, on Celeste, to make sure she was all right, talking with her about, the birds and the bees conversations, and, things that her mother should have been talking to her about, protecting her from. Those sad that's the saddest part about this. Is like I said, the parents completely failed her and did not, they didn't want to raise her, and it was because of their financial hardships that they chose the money over their own flesh and blood, unfortunately.
They're like, Lake Elsinore people know she's with David.
So my question now is, because in this email it says there's been talk that the artist David possibly has something to do with the disappearance of 13-year-old Celeste Rivas. If that statement holds any merit, please do the right thing and take her home. Her parents are very worried. Now my question is this person is not a family member related to Celeste, right?
No, she's not.
So if this random person, they may have been close or whatever, but whoever this person was, they knew to send this email to this manager. Why didn't Celeste's parents reach out as well?
Listen, it's called Connect Team, and it's insane. I don't do schedules or timesheets manually anymore.
It's a good question. That's something we'd like answers to. It's hard to, at the beginning, we asked the same questions to ourselves, like, okay, why wouldn't the parents do them? We think, okay, well, maybe this is when ICE raids are really ramping up, right? And we're like, okay, maybe there's like a documentation issue, but that's not the case. And we find out, well, okay, so that's not the case. So what is it then? And then things start coming out about there's photos of meetings in Lake Elsinore with David with a paper bag apparently full of money.
Have you ever posted the photo of that on Twitter?
I think I have. If not, if you just
oh man, he didn't let him say it. I'm mad he didn't let him say it. I'm mad his dumb ass didn't let him say it. I'm mad his dumb ass didn't let him say it, yo. Shout out to you, Julia, but why didn't you let him finish his sentence and let him say beating the parents? Like, you just cut him off.
David, bag of money in Lake Elsinore or something like that. It'll come up. It's a pretty well-known picture now. He's in a parking lot.
Yeah. So
okay, you was talking about that picture. I thought she was gonna say a picture of the mom. He's talking about the picture of him paying off the kids in the parking lot of Lake Elsinore.
Do you know when that picture was dated?
I don't remember the exact date.
That one when everybody saw.
This is during the time when she's,
everybody saw that picture
when she's missing. So that's it right there.
Yeah,
Yep.
So do you know who these people are right here?
I do. I can't say who, because they're minors too. I do.
Is it any relation to Celeste?
They're not related. I'll tell you, there are people now that are definitely fighting for Celeste, though.
The people fighting for Celeste. Oh.
Yeah.
So, and this is him in.
This is Lake Elsinore, where she lived and went to school. This is like 3 blocks from her house. Keep in mind, Lake Elsinore is about 75 or 80 miles from the house where David lives, so it's not like just around the corner. So he's out there for a reason.
I was gonna say, the main focus needs to be on, because Celeste isn't here anymore, so she needs justice for her family. But I know you don't want to say it, but I don't care. I'll take the bullet. I see this as a lot of people in her life failed her, where a lot of this could have been prevented before it got to this point.
Her death could have been prevented.
You can say that this is victim blaming and stuff like that. Well, no, this is just accountability. This is a child, and a child needs to have some kind of guidance to keep people away from bad people. It doesn't matter how much money someone has, status, or anything like that. And, so, because this is a lot of new information that I feel like mainstream media isn't talking about there being 2 different houses. So Celeste went to 2 different houses. And one of those houses, there was a case report about her where was it a missing persons case report, or was it a different type of case report?
Yeah, it stemmed from a missing persons case. So West Hollywood had apparently been asked to do like a welfare check or look for Celeste when she was missing at this house, and so they had an open report about it. I don't have the exact details. I can't get it because they've shut me off from it. But what they did tell me was there's an open investigation. So I think that's one of the that's one of the ways they can say that she was murdered as a witness. But it doesn't even have to be that. It can be to her own case. But it all, just shows just by the, by the dates of like that email that was sent and stuff. This has been going on a very long time. And he wasn't worried. You know what I mean? Like he kept having her come back and he wasn't worried about it. So I think there's a reason why we haven't seen a lot of statements, and like you said, it's about accountability, right? And I don't care if she was a handful. Maybe she was. And if parents get to the point where they don't know what to do anymore, they can't just let them be like, okay, just go live whatever life you want to live. He's rich. What could go wrong? That he's famous. That you can't, like, there's, as much as I hate the CPS system, there are systems in place by the state. You gotta go. You can't just make a decision that they can. Well, she's 13. I guess she's got this. You can't do that, right? And so there's got to be accountability. I understand that. I'm sure they're grieving. I'm sure they feel a tremendous amount of guilt. But this can also be a learning experience, maybe for other parents, that this could never be right. And it's never right for these predators to, like, because they seek these are the people they seek out. You know what I mean? Like, David had his choice of a lot of different girls, and there's a reason he chose this underage one that probably had a lot of things going on in her life that she probably disclosed to David. She's a victim, and he just picked her off because it was easy to do.
Did Celeste have a father in her life, or was it just her mother?
Yeah, her father's still alive. I don't know to the extent that I don't know what type of relationship that was. I don't know what the relationship was between her and her mother even. I've heard different accounts, So I don't know. I don't think the family life was spectacular by any means, but she's the little kid that deserved, to be watched over and guided and helped and loved. And I'm not saying they didn't love her, but a year and a half she was gone before she was found deceased. Like, and she was 13 and 14. Like, can't wrap my head around how that.
When you say a year and a half, like, that's. Because I feel like a lot of people think like, a year and a half, like they had no Was that year and a half really a year and a half of her missing? Or was that just a year and a half of her just not sleeping at home?
Okay, so that's a very good point. And what we come to find out is it really wasn't a year and a half of her being truly missing, because she showed up at a couple of these events, like her cousin's high school graduation. But we know now that she most likely was killed on or very close to April 23rd. The time frame from April 23rd to September 8th, when she's found in the trunk, is a long period of time that you think people would have been like banging down David's door being like, hey, we have not heard from her, not even like a hello or anything. What's going on? How come she hasn't checked in? How come she hasn't sent a text to her brother or her sister or to her cousins and nothing? It's a long period of time, but I don't know. I don't know if anybody was banging down Isidore, when the news came out that a body had been found in his Tesla. I don't know why people weren't at police station saying, my daughter knows that guy. And I haven't seen my daughter or heard from my daughter in a very long time.
I don't know how much you know, but did the parents go to the police station, or did the police have to go to the parents?
TMZ actually. TMZ had somebody, guy online that kind of figured it out in the Discord, and then he started like threatening people. There's a weird sequence of events, but what it comes down to is he went to LAPD, and then he went to TMZ. And TMZ called the mom and was like, hey, does your daughter have this certain tattoo? Because the medical examiner had put out to the public that she had a tattoo that said shh, and then they kind of put together. But the thing is that that was news. Like, this was big news in LA, right? This young girl, unidentified still, had been found in David, the singer's Tesla. They knew. I knew it was gonna be her.
And,
The Discord was talking about it.
And was this David's Discord or was it just random?
David's.
I guess.
Thank you for somebody saying that part again. Like, once that information happened, found in David's Tesla, why was it not already evident then if the entire neighborhood of Lake Elsinore knew it was Celeste?
To wind it down, is there any, two questions. Have there been evidence that you found that the police didn't have that has aided further into this investigation where it sent it into a different route? And also, is there a piece of evidence that you either have found yourself or you know about to where you can definitively say without a shadow of doubt that he was the one who murdered her?
And so to take your last question first, there's nothing like a video of something happening or even a body being taken out that I've seen, right? Of a totality of a lot of different evidence, I am certain that they have the right guy. I don't think they have all the guys or girls. I don't think that they have them all. But I think they have the main one, and I hope that there's going to be more. But I do think this is going to be a circumstantial-based case. I think this is going to not be based so much on the actual physical evidence they have as it is going to be on people rolling over on David, finally. To answer your first question, yeah, so there was some evidence. I don't know if LAPD, we kind of put their feet to the fire on it. We found a burn cage. David had purchased a burn cage, an incinerator, and it was at the house.
So that incinerator wasn't at the house before?
Well, we found it at the house, but I mean, why do you have an incinerator and a chainsaw? Like, you don't need it at this house, and it comes with all the yard people and stuff like that. You don't do any of your own maintenance, right? But why do you have an incinerator and a chainsaw? There's evidence, that was left behind, like a SD card from a camera, photos of him and Celeste together, and so this is all stuff we passed on to. And listen, I've met with a.
This shit I'm talking about. Like, there's certain things that's just obvious here. A chainsaw and an incinerator in this fool house. What do you mean? It's just certain shit that has just become obvious. Like, absolutely obvious. This is a weird psycho. What are you doing with an incinerator in your home? As he just said, you don't do no yard work. You don't mow the lawn. You don't pull the weeds. You don't you ain't cutting no trees. You ain't hacking no wood. Oh, before this ends, that reminds me. Speaking of chainsaws, I was literally just trying to find the video. Matter of fact, let me see if I could scroll through real quick and see if I could find that video of the last time we saw Celeste. Oh, was this it here? Yes, this is it right here. This was the video that we had found of the last time, this right here. So, peep this, right? Peep this. Celeste walking off into the sunlight, right? Remember, I kept thinking about that. I was like, yo, what does this video mean? I ran across something today. I'm going to show you. He did a video of Celeste walking off. Y'all. Yeah, Celeste walking off into the sun. That's described her to the T. That just described her to the T. This weird video he made of him showing this right here in the warehouse. And it looks like he recorded that. He recorded this at night on purpose, but he had her walking away into from the sunset on purpose. Like he shot that himself. So speaking of chainsaws, I remember this. He either looks like he's on drugs or possessed, with the bags under his eyes. He just looks very demonic here. Looks very demonic and different here.
Yeah, he's showing where he is. I'm like,
listen, this video has no sound. This is one of the only ones that has no sound on it, which is very creepy. I'm showing a red light shaking.
Yeah, like a red light, like a light fading away. I didn't peep what that was.
Very, very eerie.
What that was describing it for. Just a light fading away.
Looks like a car lot. He's showing a car lot also.
See?
With 66 on it.
He showed the car lot.
Where was that at? Where was that found? Where is it found? Tesla Park near Bluebird Ave 3. Bluebird Ave. Bluebird Ave. What? Where? Tesla was found.
I said I looked at all this shit for everybody, man. The video was even showing the parking lot. Man was showing the parking lot where he was at, bruh. And then showed that way. That's what I wanted to show. These little hotel spots.
Might resemble.
That's what I wanted to look
he
at.
Was walking. All right. So far, I don't see that 66 flag that was waving.
Where is it? Hold on. Oh, almost forgot. Yeah, right here.
He might not be in LA here. He might be posting this from where he is in Florida. But there is, looks like, what do you call it? Justin. I did just see Justin. The guy that was right here, I did just see Justin.
Yeah, this over here.
Just trying to figure out why he would post this right here. Unless, like I said, he was possibly outside.
Yeah, I remember we saw this Florida. Right here, the warehouse. This warehouse right here.
Not necessarily LA.
That warehouse was stuck out to me like a sore thumb. Now, peep this, right? I tried to look up the video by just saying David Warehouse, right? Look what I found. Watch this. Watch this. Not only was this fool in the warehouse, he did a live stream from the warehouse. He did a live stream from the warehouse. Look at the date. 2 years ago. 2024. Right? And we kept trying to figure out the timeline of when she got killed, or I should say where she got killed. I'm saying to myself, why would you have a song called Leave Her on the state? In this warehouse. Look at that. Yeah, it took too long for the charge. Took too long.
DA's office. There's been grand juries. I think that those transcripts they said yesterday will be released soon, and so I think more of my statements will.
Actually, I'm so happy you brought up the grand jury. I don't know because I've obviously done grand juries. So I don't know how much you can reveal, but why didn't this get just regularly in, like, because from what you're saying, I mean, from just online, you see this totality of evidence to where it's obvious that there's enough evidence to say that a crime probably occurred and David was a part of it. So why wasn't he officially indicted, like, by a grand jury?
I don't know. I don't listen. They came out saying that they were in lockstep with LAPD, and anybody saying different isn't correct. I don't think they were. They went to great lengths to keep all the evidence completely secretive. They got the medical examiner's reports sealed, and even in the medical examiner even came out with a statement where they thought that was not right to do. They thought that her family deserved to have answers of what happened to their daughter. They didn't like doing it. There was a grand jury. I've had to be somewhat quiet about that. Although as witnesses don't have to be, they're not kept to any secrecy. It's only the grand jurors themselves. And then I was threatened, with contempt. But I don't have a problem saying here because I know they're going to be unsealed. I did testify twice in front of the grand jury. And I don't know why they didn't indict. I don't think my personal thought is that LAPD probably was sick of the public giving them a hard. I wonder if part of it is that they were sick of being asked, "Is this a blown investigation?" And they just said, we're gonna go ahead and arrest him, and if the DA can either pick up charges or not pick up charges, and maybe that's what it came down to. And if it did come down to that, then I commend my client for.
Working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. That's because
they were like, we're gonna, this started as us needing answers, what happened in our house, but we're gonna turn it into making sure that Celeste gets justice and nothing gets left behind, no evidence, nothing's going to get swept under the rug, and we're going to hold their feet to the fire. And if they're not going to charge them, then we're going to go on this worldwide damn campaign, and we'll show the evidence ourselves if we have to. And we were starting to get.
I have to go to Trap Law Ross real quick. I was trying to find that picture of them with her with the label. I have to go to Trap Law. Trap Law Ross, another one. Shout out to Trap Law Ross because he's been down with this since I've been down with it pretty much. Sticking with it, trying putting together the pieces to the puzzle, going through the Reddit and the Discords and everything like that. He's been doing that to the fullest extent also, with no regards as well. Definitely shout out to Trap Law Ross, and who's also been Trap Law was also in the courtroom, face to face with David. So. He's another one besides Steve Fisher that has been, the hood investigator, so to speak, on this entire thing here. I don't know why I'm passing up the damn video now. Where the fuck is it? Let me just put his name in. Okay, yeah, it was this one.
Okay, folks, I've got a big update for you guys on the David case. And I'm going to be talking about something very sensitive in this video. So, look, there's been a lot of talk recently about Celeste's family, what they knew, were they being paid, did they know about the relationship with David, did they maybe encourage the relationship with David? I'm going to talk about that in this video, and a lot of people have been talking about this. And I just want to keep it real with you guys. I do think a lot of people have been very disrespectful about this topic. This is a grieving family that lost their daughter. I really don't want to pile on, disrespect the family, and upset anybody. So I want to really give the family a lot of the benefit of the doubt, even if they knew, they had an unruly daughter that was dating an old video, and how everyone around David knew her. So this is a picture of her. Look how young she looks. It's quite dark. You might need to brighten the screen up to see that. But again, this relates to that show. You got David's sister.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I forgot that is a Reddit too. I forgot about that. I forgot it was a David too. Forgot all about that. Do we have the pictures in here? Shout out to the Reddit team too, because they've been following this for so long. They've been following this for so long. Oh, so there's a full minute of it. Hold on, let me see something.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Oh, that's the unedited version.
I personally don't.
Yo, I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything. Take that one off.
I took it off because they didn't go with the silver.
Season it. It's already seasoned, bro. It's Alfredo.
Seasoning.
Chat. Pray for his career, chat. Are we done? Are we?
We need to delete this.
Are we? Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too? Can we delete anything? You done for, bro? Y'all.
I'm gonna read the chat. I'm reading the chat real quick.
Can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as
because I never paid attention to this part right here.
Chat.
I remember reading the chat before, but I didn't catch that. This was before the clip happened, so I didn't see this part of the chat when it happened. Yeah, see, oh hell nah. Pray for his career, chat. David, come back. He come back to Philly.
Are we done? Are we?
We need to delete this.
Are we? Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
You done for, bro?
Can we delete anything?
The
You done
mod
for,
said
bro?
no.
Y'all are not done? Now you going to Epstein?
Nah, you going to Epstein. You going on the Epstein list. Pay me first. There's no escaping this, bro.
Yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one.
Anybody that want to see it? I know you probably can't see it, but yeah. See, there's no escaping this, bro. You done for, bro. Pay mods first. Where's the other one at? Yeah, you going on the Epstein list. There's no escaping this, bro. Nah, I'm calling him bro after that. Don't get canceled, dog. Caught you 4K. No, none of us have access to that Asian going, bro. Oh man, wow. All right. Listen, I came in here for the picture. Wait, what?
In our confession.
Did we like report this?
What? We have people admitting to literal like murder in our confession.
Did we like report this? Guys, this person.
Oh, she spoke out too. I forgot to look at that video.
I'm sorry. It's just like we have people literally in our.
I forgot about that. She, the girl that was in the video, that acted. That's a damn shame, bro. That's a goddamn shame. was trying to find the pictures again. David is innocent. Oh my gosh. All right.
So
Yeah, this girl Camille posted this of her being in the video.
Calling People versus David Anthony Burke. That's case number 26 CJC F02399. Good morning or good afternoon.
Yeah, pled not
Is there
guilty.
immediate?
Like, fuck you, dog. Talking about some not guilty. All right, we don't have to let Ross show the pictures because I can't find the damn things. Looks like it's way back, further than I expected him to be.
Same black hoodie. That's this absolute clown David in the middle. I'm so tired of seeing this face. That is a punchable face if I saw that. I would.
What happened was, what's going on? He definitely got a punchable face.
Thump him in the face if I ever was given the opportunity, right in his little spot star. But that's his brother cheesing it up as he's going backstage with this A minor. Right, whole family needs to be investigated. It says David knew her. Celeste TikTok post during the Fonda Theatre time frame. Look at them.
That reminds me too that Celeste's brother had actually was talking to somebody in Discord about that same exact shit and was like, yo, I went to the police and it was because they had no hard evidence. They couldn't even do anything to David. But Celeste's brother tried to get Celeste home because he knew already where she was. And the police was talking about they couldn't do anything.
Snuggling, kissing, canoodling, right? Knew what was going on. So it's all well and good pointing the finger at the family, but look, he was enticing her in with Hello Kitties, all right? I'm a fan of Hello Kitty, but the way he was weaponizing the Hello Kitty franchise against this minor is absolutely despicable. It says Celeste's posting in David's Discord. So look, we've seen all of these images. We've seen all of this stuff before, right? This is very well documented that he had this minor at the Fonda Theatre. Now, I just don't think it's feasible to suggest that, you know, the family could have stopped this going on. He really sucked her into his web of deceit and destruction and debauchery. There really is no two ways about it, you know, and really, could she have escaped? She was in too deep. Look, the whole team, whole management team, we got Robert Morgenroth there, right? We saw Josh Marshall, David's whole family. So this whole gaggle of people, not only are they ensuring that David's not facing consequences for this, but...
Hey, bro, can you make me some?
He always there.
I just died, went to heaven in Japan, and some angels started singing to me.
Could Celeste have even left if she wanted to? She's got all these people around. And I honestly would point the finger at David's team and say, these are the people that were keeping her around. She probably couldn't have escaped if she wanted to. Okay. And, you know, you want to point the finger at the family. These clowns, all of these clowns that were at the show with her, these are the people responsible. Forget about the family. Okay. So here's kind of a breakdown just on everybody knowing her and knowing she was backstage. And again, her family's nowhere to be seen. Her family's worried sick, wondering where she is when all this is going on. It says, we've seen a backstage video from the Fonda Theatre in LA showing Celeste together with David's brother. At first, it looks like his... Can you see that? Yeah. At first, it looks like only his brother is leading her through the backstage area, but in the first few seconds, you can see her holding hands with another person, David's little sister. Interestingly, there are photos from David's show where you can see all of them, including David's mom, sitting together at the venue. David performed at the Fonda over 3 nights in June 2024. 27th to the 29th. The backstage video of Celeste with David's siblings and the pictures of them sitting together were from June 27th, 2024. Interestingly, Celeste also posted different photos on her Instagram account, Hello Kitty Life Girl, and on TikTok, the YayWoohoo7 account, with David tagged in her post. So she was brazen and bold enough to even be tagging David in the post, which is crazy. There were also pictures posted on her TikTok showing her with David covering her face. Some people argued that it's not Celeste because she had a straight red hair instead of her usual black curly hair. However, we now know that she had red hair dyed when we saw her at the influencer Noor's birthday party with dyed red hair, wearing David's bandana, a ring, and a bracelet, which she posted wearing multiple times. She's also shared several pictures with red hair and a red ink tattoo, so it doesn't seem like a coincidence at all. Celeste also posted a video of her with David in one of the Fonda Theatre's dressing rooms on a different day, possibly June 28th or 29th. In this video, she was wearing a different outfit, gray sweatpants and a gray hoodie. She deleted the video, but you can see it's the same dressing room as her alien face TikTok post with David in front of a mirror. Not to mention, she also posted a backstage picture in David's Discord showing them sitting on the stairs. This suggests that she was with David on multiple days at the Fonda Theatre. Steve Fisher had also said that there's no proof that Celeste was living in or even staying at the mansion. However, Celeste posted several pictures of herself with David in the mansion on her Instagram account, the Hello Kitty Life Girl account. At the Fonda Theatre, there was a photo booth. Interestingly, Interscope Records contacted the photo booth rental company, High Photo Booths, to secure a booth for the 3-day show. In the pictures taken there, Celeste is obviously not visible, but there are group photos showing David in his close circle, as well as a picture of his family and management.
I want to know if that's still up. I kind of want to know if that's still up now. Probably not, but... Probably isn't still up. What was it? Just want to make sure I typed it in right. Kitty Life Girl. Okay. It's crazy I put that in. And David came up. That's wild. I put her Instagram name in and all this shit where David came up. Okay, that's the David one.
I think that's a really interesting point.
Just trying to see what I can find.
Everybody knew this was a minor, in my opinion, because they knew, don't put her in the photo booth. We can't have evidence of this minor being around, being in part of the inner circle. She sat next to David's own brother and his own mother. So clearly she's part of the crew. Clearly she's a very important person, right? I wouldn't have a random sitting next to my mother if I was having a public event, right? That's just how it is. Like, that's a very exclusive spot. But you don't have him in the photo booth pictures. The minor only got captured in pictures that were taken accidentally that you guys wish hadn't been taken. Josh Marshall, all right, and Robert Morgenroth, they're livid that pictures were taken of them around Celeste at the show. They did their darndest. Don't let her in the photo booth. Minor, all right? Allegedly, that's my opinion. But anyway, it says it's concerning in light of recent discussions and denials of involvement in the Celeste investigation surrounding not only David's close friend group, Asia, Neos, Celeste Herrera and Vanessa, but also David's management.
Now, speaking of Josh, right? Because remember I said this, I was like, yo, I guarantee that's Josh Marshall. Remember the story we looked at with Discord? And there was a kid in there saying, yo, I was at a restaurant and I saw the girl that looks just like Celeste. I know that was the girl because when she came on the news, that was the same exact girl that I saw in the restaurant that day. Remember that Discord story? He said he had saw Celeste in the store with the white guy. And the only white guy I could think of was Josh Marshall. I'm like, okay. Is the way she had described, the way that the kid described how the white guy even looked. I was like, sound like Josh. And it couldn't have been the other one that she got trafficked to with the message to the mom. It had to have been Josh. It had to have been Josh. Especially the way that he had described how she looked concerned. She looked concerned like she didn't want to be there. And she wanted to be somewhere else. Like... And then for him to identify, like I said, Celeste Rivas in the Discord message, it was like, yo, I can get, that's why I keep saying, yo, I hope they investigate Josh too, bro.
People working closely with David include Josh Marshall, his manager and CEO of Mogul Vision, Robert Morgenroth, general manager at Mogul Vision.
And that security guard. And that security guard. Remember the security guard? Remember that security guard real quick? This idiot. Why is it muted? I don't know why that was muted, but okay, I guess I gotta put it in a different way. Why is my shit muted? Oh.
Hey, listen, did you hear about the David case?
Oh, what's good, bro?
Hi.
That's Marquis Mark, David Security.
Drake last week, bro.
Yeah, I was with Constantine.
On the left.
Listen, did you hear about the David case? The singer.
David with the
Yes.
slat in the back trunk.
He was the bodyguard for him.
I helped him bury her. It's crazy.
Oh, no.
What the fuck?
Yo, no. Hell no.
Yo, bro. Oh, what's good, bro?
He didn't even want to keep that on recording. Somebody else was recording and heard him say that. I helped him bury the body.
Hey, Shimmy, you was just with Kaitan Drake last week, bro.
Yeah, I was with Constantine.
Of course, she didn't get buried, but put in the Tesla.
Hey,
listen, did you hear about the David case? The singer.
David with the
Yes.
slat in the back trunk.
He was the bodyguard for him.
I helped him bury her. It's crazy.
No.
What the fuck? Yo, no.
Hell no.
And he ran away saying that stupid ass shit. Fat fuck.
Who handles David's day-to-day stuff? Interestingly, in the group picture, Lane Cooperstein is also present. She's a general manager at the Darkroom label behind David and is in charge of artist development, guiding his growth in music, branding, career strategy, and label relationships. She was also seen at David's second rental house, Doheny, on multiple occasions, including Twitch streams. So in short, Josh Marshall works as David's manager via Mogul Vision, while Lane Cooperstein is credited with spearheading his artist development via the Darkroom. It raises so many questions. How can people in David's close circle deny any involvement with Celeste? Obviously, she was with David at the Fonda Theatre. Even though she wasn't part of the photo booth, she's still seen backstage in the venue audience seats and still is clearly hanging around David and his family. So you're telling me Neo?
With Base 44, a simple sentence becomes your website.
You know what the other thing is?
And Asia, David's stylist and makeup artist didn't notice. That also goes for his management team, who were clearly behind the stage at some points and would have seen her.
You know what the other thing is? The other reason why I got upset about newer people making content and shit that wasn't down with it before, or doing the research on it before when the news first broke. I'm gonna take what Still Dante was doing when he watched, and you know what? We're gonna look at that before the pod ends. We're gonna look at Patrick Cece, because some of you guys might remember, some of you guys probably don't. Patrick Cece did a full investigation on this whole shit, broke it all down, even gave a number, timeline, and everything for everybody. Before everybody. I'm talking about, besides mine, if you want to do a real investigation, if the fans really wanted to know what Dave did, watch Patrick Cece shit. We're going to look at Patrick Cece shit, but listen to what Dante said right here. And this is, again, why I say what I say as far as people making content on it. Because listen to what he says here and how he feels about it. This is 6 months ago.
It does seem like it, but there is even more evidence.
With shout out to Still Dante. This is not a diss to Dante, but this was just a natural reaction to the whole thing.
To dissect in July of 2024, I think. And it starts with this photo that was taken right around the corner from Celeste's house. Reports have not identified her exact address, but they revealed that she lived down the street from Del Lago Spirits in Lake Elsinore, California, which would mean somewhere on Jamieson Street next to the dirt patch. Also, note across, you can see this is the same parking lot that the photo was taken.
Listen to what he says as far as how he feels about this whole thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if y'all, I'm not just scrolling through TikTok and
watching every fucking update about this or anything like about this. I saw the first shit when it first came out, and that was only like probably like one video or something like that. But bro, until all this shit is finished, I'm not looking into people talking about this shit just trying to get their clicks and their views, bro. This shit, like, someone's actually dead. Someone, you know, someone's actually dead. Someone's passed away. Now we need to figure out who the fuck did it, why the fuck they did it. I'm not looking at fucking TikToks of, this is what I think happened. Da-da-da. Follow for part 2. What, nigga? No.
Thank you. And that's how I feel about it. That's why you didn't see me reporting this after I did the first. That's why the second live was so damn short, because I was like, yo, I don't even want to continue to make it look like I'm farming on this shit. Like, somebody, you saw on the Reddit right now, somebody already saying like, yo, Ross, you got 19 goddamn videos in 9 days. Like, chill, my G. Like, I understand you want to keep following this shit. Like I said, if anybody has the, you know, if there's anybody I give respect to, respect is due, is Trap Lord Ross. What he does with it, 19 views in 9 days, yeah, I get it. You farming content, my G. Chill out. But at the same time, Trap was one of the main people 6 or 7 months ago that was following everything, including the Reddit, from day one. So people can't act like Trap wasn't like me following this thing from the beginning. So let's get to that real quick. Let's look at my boy Patrick CC.
The dismembered body of a 14-year-old girl was found decomposing in a plastic bag in the front truck of a Tesla at a Los Angeles impound lot. The Tesla was registered.
Patrick broke the whole thing down in less than the time that I could.
In Hempstead, Texas, to David Anthony Burke, also known as multi-platinum singer and songwriter David, who currently has 2 million followers on Instagram and nearly 40 million monthly listeners on Spotify. David was on tour the day she was found.
I don't know if I said it already. What had happened was, what's going on with you?
Traveling from Madison, Wisconsin to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Authorities expressed that David was cooperating with them, so it seemed like this was some horrible coincidence. But every day that passed, more information came out that made David look more like the prime suspect. The girl was identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who had run away from her home 14 months earlier and had been missing ever since. The LAPD said it is very likely she was dead for several weeks prior to her being discovered. Some of the other initial reports were shocking. She and David had a matching tattoo that said shh on their fingers. Her brother told police David regularly picked Celeste up in the same Tesla she was found dead in. Countless photos and videos were resurfaced where the two appeared to be close friends, if not possibly a couple. And one of the last times she was ever seen in public, she was backstage at one of his concerts.
Here's why the founders of IMI are betting on an ad platform you probably haven't thought of.
In my opinion, going to be one of.
Now, if you look at all of the evidence I'm about to give you in no particular order, it screams that David is guilty. And by no means am I trying to defend him or prove him innocent, but we are talking about a very serious murder of a child. And I think there are a lot of people on the internet that are looking at this as pure entertainment, and they're confusing the story and spreading false information because it makes for a more interesting crime documentary. With that being said, what I'm going to do is try to establish a very clear timeline of events, from the moment Celeste may have met David to when she went missing, to what happened while she was missing, and ultimately when she was found dead, and what has been proven so far. In July of 2022, David releases his breakout song Romantic Homicide, where he sings, "In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry, not a single tear."
Where she died in the back of my mind. Like, I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died.
This song would go extremely viral on TikTok, would eventually become multi-platinum, and launch him into fame. 1 month later, someone with the username Celeste messaged in David's Discord in August of 2022 saying that her parents are annoying and they won't let her go see him perform. He replies, "Don't worry, I'll fix it," which, if this was the victim, she would have been 11 years old at the time of this message.
So again, if you just now tuning in, this was done, I'll show you, 6 months ago when this first happened.
Months later, in October of 2022, David asks for Celeste, and that same user replies, "Hi David, bark," seemingly excited to talk to him. She would have been 12 years old at the time. 1 year later, in October of 2023, David says he thinks girls his age are in December of
Bruh, I can't get over that still. Who has this creepy ass profile picture like this?
1 year later, in October of 2023, David says he thinks girls his age are in December of 2023, a user in David's Discord takes a screenshot of what appears to be a live stream and asks David, "Who's the girl?" To which he replies, "You are a Fed," which basically means, "Why are you all up in my business?" Then again, if this was Celeste, who was not missing at this time, then he would be publicly hanging out with a 13-year-old. However, due to the low quality of this photo and half of her face being covered, it's hard to tell if this is actually Celeste. Plus, you will notice a trend of David always being around girls that look the same. There is also this photo that may have been taken around the same time, December of 2023, although we don't have an exact date, but David's hair matched that color around late 2023 and early 2024. In January of 2024, David is seen on a live stream with the girl we strongly believe to be Celeste. It's important to know at the time of this stream, David was 18 years old, about to turn 19, and Celeste was 13. Also, she was not a missing person at this time.
Yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer.
Which one? It was good that we're a big family. Bro, thank you, Mitochondria.
We need to delete this.
Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
It's interesting that they both wanted this stream deleted, probably because Celeste made this joke about R-wording kids.
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Really good.
Okay,
it's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
He says he media trained her, hinting that she can't just say wild things on the internet. Also in the chat, they are making jokes about David being on the Epstein flight logs. So it seems like the conversation was something about David and minors. Also, someone in the chat typed in Celeste's name. So at some point, she was identified on this stream as Celeste. Also at this time, David was rolling out a song called Leave Her, where he sings the lyrics, "I can't stop falling for her," and also was posting a ton of TikToks suggesting he was infatuated with a girl. Around this time, David started sporting a lot of Hello Kitty gear, mugs, shirts, plushies. He even romanticized a Hello Kitty girl. Hello Kitty almost became like an extension of his brand, and you'll notice a lot of Hello Kitty adjacent stuff with Celeste in a bit. In February of 2024, David's manager, Josh Marshall, entered a lease for a Hollywood Hills home. However, the owner wasn't informed that David was actually going to be the one living there. On February 14th, 2024, which was Valentine's Day, 70 miles south of David's home is a town called Lake Elsinore, California. A 13-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas Hernandez was reported missing. Family members made posts to Facebook asking people to help locate her. Celeste's aunt wrote, "We still don't know anything about my niece, and I will not get tired of begging God and appear well. I love you, and you know that the mercy of God will accompany you wherever you are. I have faith and you will return to our arms." Missing person posters were distributed around Celeste's neighborhood, and her family posted as many photos as possible to ensure she could be found. According to private investigator Steve Fisher, Celeste's mother somehow found out that she was with David and emailed his manager Josh, but this PI did not release the email. He also says a couple days after this email, Celeste returned home on February 20th, 2025. Celeste's cousin made a post on Facebook a few days after.
That would also be that same email that Steve Fisher showed, just so you know.
After she returned
home. The one that Josh got.
Saying, "Be careful with who you talk to on the internet, guys. Don't make the same mistakes my cousin made." However,
now here's the kicker to that, right?
Let's chat about the first big
here's the
AI
kicker to
agent
that.
trend for 2026.
You want to know why? You want to know why Steve specifically said I had to redact Josh's name from it? Because he knows that Josh is going to be investigated. So showing that, right, especially since it's going to be on a live stream, him showing that Josh's name was on that email, that is confirmation that Josh is a suspect now. Excuse me. Now a suspect in this case as well, because you had knowledge of when Celeste was missing, and you were seen in pictures with David where Miss Celeste was seen also.
Just a few weeks later, Celeste was reported missing for a second time in March of 2024. On March 19th, 2024, Celeste was captured on security camera.
Now, remember when I said, remember that date? March 2024? Remember I said, remember that date? Remember I said that? I said, remember that date, right? Remember that date. Remember that date. In that Leave Her song. What that say? March 4th, 2024. Say it again, Patrick. Say it again, Patrick.
His manager, Josh. But this PI didn't.
Say it again, Patrick.
Guys, don't make the same mistakes my cousin made. However, just a few weeks later, Celeste was reported missing for a second time in March of 2024.
When was she missing again? Oh, okay.
March 19th, 2024, Celeste was captured on security camera footage belonging to Delago Spirits, a liquor store just down the street from her family home. At 7 a.m., a teen identified as Celeste by her family is seen walking down the street wearing an oversized black hoodie and white pants. Now, her being out at this time isn't necessarily weird because kids walk to school or the bus in the morning, but out of nowhere, she begins to run around the corner. What I find interesting is how the other person she walks past stops and turns their head to look back at Celeste, almost like she noticed something weird. Like, was she crying or did she say something? During this time, chat logs from David's Discord indicate that his closest fans knew about them. Someone said, "Pretty sure he is dating right now," and another user replied, "Yeah, her name is Celeste." Shortly after, Celeste was found and brought back home by police. Celeste was reported missing for the third and final time in April of 2024. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department opened a missing person investigation after Rivas left her home at 9 p.m. on April 5th, wearing gray pants and a black sweater, as well as a hat and Hello Kitty sandals. Celeste's brother Matthew told NBCLA that family members were aware that the girl knew the singer David. Matthew Rivas said when his sister disappeared, she was on her way to see a movie with him, but never returned. Her brother also said that David regularly picked her up in the same Tesla her body was found in. Now, a reasonable person would assume that the family did not know that David was 19. Maybe they could have assumed he was 16 because that is the age you need to be to legally drive a car. Whether or not David knew that Celeste was 6 years younger than him at this point is not clear, but many people have a hard time believing that David could not be aware that he was regularly hanging out with, or worse, being romantically involved with a child. After April 2024, Celeste's family would never see her again. At least we think.
Awake. No. Understand this, right? Fuck all that. Why is a grown ass man picking up my daughter at my home? That's the part nobody want to ask still. Why is this grown ass man picking up my daughter at this home?
The Daily Mail claimed Celeste stayed in contact with friends for more than a year after being reported missing. There was a photo of her taken at a family member's graduation, but it was posted in August of 2024, and graduations don't typically happen in August. So it was either sometime in May or June when graduations typically happen, or maybe even a full year before. But regardless, the photo seems like it was uploaded long after it was taken. While Celeste was missing, an insider revealed the family received a strange phone call that made them stop searching for her. "I know someone who called her mom and said, 'Stop looking for her, she's fine,'" the insider said. They told the family to take down the social media posts about her being missing. The identity of the alleged caller is unknown, and there's no way to know if they are connected to David. 2 months after being missing, on June 27th, 2024, many believe Celeste is captured back.
Now. I'm muted again. Okay. Now. I know we all got ears here, right? Check this out. You just heard Josh got the email that she was missing, right? Then Josh makes the call. Hey, stop looking for her. She's fine. Took down the social media post. You're making David hot. You hear the timeline. You literally hear the timeline going.
Backstage walking alongside David's brother at one of his concerts in Los Angeles. Now this evidence is much stronger, but pay attention here. David posted a TikTok on February 7th, 2024, before Celeste went missing the first time. It says, when your card declines at therapy and they bring in that one Hello Kitty girl you met in 2021, take a look at his jeans and the Hello Kitty plushie looped onto his pants. This next photo is a POV shot of a girl with fair skin holding his belt loop wearing the Hello Kitty themed Crocs. Those Crocs match the ones that Celeste was wearing backstage, and the description of her missing person report says that she was wearing Hello Kitty sandals. Even though we can't 100% confirm, I do strongly believe that the girl who was captured going backstage is Celeste. But now there is a huge gap in the timeline, from June of 2024 to September 2025 when she was found dead. During this 14-month gap, very little is known, and it's very speculative as to what happened and where she was during that time. But this is all the evidence we have. July of 2024 is an insanely important month to remember because basically all of the evidence that we have takes place in this 1 month period. July 7th, 2024, David posts a TikTok of him and a girl with the same skin complexion as Celeste sitting in his Tesla with the caption, "Softest soft launch of all time," suggesting he is now in a relationship. Firstly, we know this wasn't a real-time photo because David was in London on July 7th for the first date of his My House Is Not a Home tour, which means that these photos were taken before July 7th. Maybe he was bored on the plane or in a hotel and just posted them. To know if this is Celeste, first we must take a look at some more photos posted by a TikTok account named Yay Woohoo. This account posted photos with David seemingly from that exact same day, including one of them kissing and him having a hickey on his neck. The red straight hair initially made people think this was not Celeste because she had black curly hair, but the backstage video of her in June seems to indicate she may have dyed her hair, and the frizziness is likely a result of using a hot flat iron to straighten thick curly hair. There was also a Discord user in David's official Discord named Yay Woohoo, matching the TikTok account name, who insiders assumed was Celeste. But look at the profile picture. It is seemingly from the perspective of the Yay Woohoo girl and David in the Tesla. They're both doing the Spider-Man hand thing at the camera. It looks like David's hand is on the left and her hand is on the right. You can even spot a ring on her finger, which I will get to in a second. In this photo, it seems like they are parked next to another car with the windows rolled down, just like some teenagers hanging out late at night. It appears that the car next to them has someone in it with a black hoodie on. I mean, I think that jumble of pixels is a person. So if you compare that Yay Woohoo profile picture on Discord with some of the photos that were posted on TikTok, it seems like they may have been chilling all day and all night in that Tesla, sort of taking pictures and hanging out. On July 11th, 2024, David wrote a message in his Discord that said, "Me and deleted user have a kid on the way." We don't know if that deleted user is the same Yay Woohoo user, but it might be. David was in Paris when he wrote that message. Many people suggest that he was talking about Celeste and have developed tons of theories surrounding this alleged pregnancy. First of all, even if this was true, there's no way that that baby was born. That would mean that a baby would have been born in April of 2025 at the absolute latest. And I don't think you are hiding a baby for this long. Now it is,
which we would find out then that unfortunately that is when Celeste was actually murdered. It would have been in April. Rest in peace. It would have been in April that she would have been murdered. And the baby was taken as well from her. We heard from Celeste's spirit literally that her baby was taken from her. Her baby was cut out of her. So that's why there was reports. Oh, she wasn't actually pregnant. There was a baby that was removed from her. They literally did a manual abortion on her.
it's possible that the pregnancy could have been real and maybe there was an abortion or maybe she got pregnant again, but we are really...
Now, here's the other part that I thought of. What if, and this is just my hops now, right? What if that manual abortion went wrong? And because the abortion went wrong, he did what he did. That's another theory that I'm thinking of. Because they did the manual abortion of taking the baby, that's when they fucked up. But, of course, that would ruin or should I say not ruin, that would negate the actual spirit telling us that this was over a kidney that Selena Gomez needed, and Benny Blanco was also in on this as well.
Really stretching that at this point. People have also used this photo, which was posted by Yewahoo, as Celeste standing behind David and mimicking a pregnancy announcement, comically placing her hands around an invisible baby bump on David's belly. Basically, people on the internet are trying to establish a motive, that David may have gotten Celeste pregnant and maybe he thought that that would ruin his career, or people would find out that he got a child pregnant and the result of that was potentially a murder. That definitely could be a motive, and we don't want to discredit that completely, but it does seem like the timeline doesn't exactly match up.
Okay, great. Wait, were you even listening? You haven't taken a single note?
Also, this theory has been debunked because Celeste Rivas' official death certificate revealed that she was not pregnant and had not been pregnant in the last year. Anyways, Yewahoo is now a deleted account, but there is a Discord chat log that has this person identifying themselves as Yewahoo and then saying she's with David right now on July 22nd, 2024, which could definitely be true because David's European tour ended 6 days before this message. This user also posted a photo in David's Discord wearing a ring where you can also see a red finger tattoo that says David. And if we go back to the Yewahoo TikTok post, all the way in the bottom right corner, you can see what looks like a red finger tattoo. And then again, if we look at the Yewahoo Discord profile picture, you can also see the ring on the finger. Also, this same mystery girl, Yewahoo, who we think might be Celeste, made a post on Instagram under the name Hello Kitty Life Girl sitting across from David. I believe this photo was also posted around July of 2024 because David dyed his hair all the way black at that time and posted a photo of him wearing what appears to be that same pink shirt. In the Hello Kitty Life Girl photo, you can see the ring and the red tattoo on the girl's finger. Plus, she was wearing a sweater that David had been photographed in. The red tattoo is important because authorities confirmed that the body they found inside the Tesla had a tattoo on her right index finger with the letters shh. David also has a tattoo on his finger that says shh, meaning they allegedly have matching tattoos. But this is confusing because Yewahoo's tattoo doesn't say shh, it says his name. And it's also on her left ring finger, not her right index finger, which means Yewahoo either isn't actually Celeste or that red David tattoo wasn't real and maybe it was a temporary tattoo. Or this could be Celeste and she had both tattoos. She had shh on this finger and then she had David's name on her ring finger. But if that were true, then it makes the police report incredibly confusing. When the police found the body in the Tesla, they knew that it was the pop star David's Tesla. And then they said that, oh, she had a matching tattoo with David that said shh. Why would they reveal that and not the one that says David on her finger? That would not be the easiest connection ever. Like, oh, okay, this car belongs to David, body in the car. Oh yeah, her finger says David. Like that seems like really, really crucial evidence. That's just where something doesn't really match up for me. While reviewing this edit, I had another thought about this whole ring finger situation. The police did reveal that the body was dismembered or cut up. We don't know to what extent, how bad it was, or what was missing, but it makes me think if potentially the left ring finger or maybe the left hand was missing as a potential way to cover up the evidence, this would be some insane level, like serial killer, premeditated murder type stuff. At the end of July 2024, we have this photo of David at a party and a girl that strongly resembles Celeste, or Yewahoo, behind him. Red curly hair, ring on the finger, wearing David's silk bandana that he has worn hundreds of times. I'm pretty sure that Yewahoo is Hello Kitty Life Girl, and it is that girl wearing the silk bandana behind David at the party. But I can't confirm that this is Celeste, although it does seem like it. But there is even more evidence to dissect in July of 2024, I think. And it starts with this photo that was taken right around the corner from Celeste's house. Reports have not identified her exact address, but they revealed that she lived down the street from Del Lago Spirits in Lake Elsinore, California, which would mean somewhere on Jamieson Street. A new townhome community was being developed down Laguna Ave, less than a half a mile away from where Celeste lived. Referring to Google Maps, you can see this is the same parking lot that the photo was taken. Note the double-lined parking lot spaces, specifically the one all the way on the end next to the dirt patch. Also note across the street the brown fence that turns into a white fence, and take note of the wooden utility poles in the back that have the 3 distribution transformers on them. Since David lives 70 miles from Lake Elsinore, California, the only reason he would be down there right around the corner from where she lives is because he at least knew her, at least hung out with her. I mean, we know for a fact at this point there's absolutely no like world where he's like, oh yeah, I don't know who this girl is, I never met her, and nothing. There's enough evidence where they were together for sure. They spent time together. Now, text messages were released by someone who contacted this kid who was standing across from David to give context about why they were in that parking lot. Bro, this was a secret that wasn't supposed to get out. David didn't know how old the girl was. She was lying and saying she was 19 when he was 20. And the second he found out, he took her home, and since we were some dumb kids, we tried to blackmail him, and we really messed up. And if you keep that video up, you could ruin his life for doing nothing wrong over a girl lying. And then you could ruin my life because he would know I leaked it and I could go to jail for like slandering him. Now, we know this kid's story can't be all the way true because it makes it seem like David hung out with Celeste one time, she lied about her age, and then he drove her back home. And we know they hung out more than one time. But the specific details of this kid blackmailing David actually don't matter. What does matter is simple. This kid knew about David and Celeste, and David did not want anyone else to know about them. And he was willing to pay someone to forget about it, which, you know, opens the door up for so much speculation after like how many times could he have paid someone off or had somebody keep quiet or just, you know, controlled his surroundings to make sure that nobody found out about him and Celeste. However, the date of when this happened is extremely important, and I have some weak evidence, but I do think this parking lot transaction also took place in July of 2024. But we have to focus on the outfit. Now, he wore this beanie for the first time publicly in February of 2024, which was around the first time Celeste went missing. He posted 2 TikToks wearing the cap, but David had long hair in February of 2024, and you could see his hair protruding from the sides of his hats. In the parking lot photo, you can't see his hair from the side.
Yes, you can. You can see it right there at the back. You can literally see it at the back right there.
However, in July...
And it looks like the same damn outfit almost.
2020.
Does it not? It looks like the same damn outfit almost.
He posted a TikTok wearing nearly the exact same outfit as the parking lot photo. But David was in Europe at the time of posting this TikTok. There are also no other photos or videos of him wearing this exact beanie in this color anytime after July of 2024. Now, I told you the evidence was weak. However, brand new evidence was just released that throws an unexpected curveball in this entire situation.
You're one sentence away from launching your website with Base 44. Since the beginning of the internet, there's never been such a
TMZ obtained a video recorded by a Nest doorbell camera on September 8th, 2024. But the crazy part is, she is back home in Lake Elsinore, and she got into an argument with her neighbors.
Let me talk real quick, okay? You gonna let me talk? I ain't gonna let you talk. No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk? You tripping. I ain't tripping. Nah, you tripping. How about you ain't tripping? You gonna let a woman talk? Alright, I'm not gonna let your woman talk.
The rest of the clip is just her screaming back and forth with the neighbors. Now, keep in mind, Celeste's birthday is...
No, the thing is with that, right? So when we were going over that particular argument, it sounded like she had brought David over there. I kept saying that. I was like, it sounded like she brought David over here, and the neighbors didn't like that. It literally sounded like homie had a problem with seeing David, an older guy, messing with her being young. I literally kept saying, I'm like, yo, he has a problem. I don't know if he had a racist problem or he had an actual problem with seeing David. Either way, he had a problem with David coming to see her. That was literally the argument that they were having.
September 7th. This video is on September 8th at what seems to be like early hours in the morning, which indicates she was up late, potentially celebrating her birthday. Maybe she was with family. I mean, we know she was home. And to me, she sounds intoxicated or under the influence. Fans immediately recognized Celeste's voice and confirmed that it was the same voice that is in David's songs Invisible String Theory and You Left Me First, but I can't play them due to copyright. Now, a lot of people on the internet are trying to say that like, oh, David's lawyer are revealing this, then they're trying to make her look like angry or unruly to try to paint some sort of narrative that maybe she is somehow at fault for her own death. But that is honestly just totally not focusing on what is mostly important about this.
Now,
That's kind of that's a weird twist in itself. Are you talking about the singer Selena? The sacrifice on her birthday seems very Selena. It does. Now you talking about the singer Selena though? Because if you talking about the singer Selena, that is a weird coincidence of this being over Selena Gomez also. That'd be a weird twist to that whole thing. Oh no, wait. I know you're talking about, my bad. You are talking about Selena Gomez. I'm sorry. You are talking about Selena Gomez because I had to think of my memory. Had to show my memory. Selena Gomez's birthday. My bad. I had to think for a second. Selena Gomez's birthday.
This clip. This is a massive reveal because it completely reshapes the timeline of Celeste's disappearance. Until now, the assumption was that she vanished in April of 2024 and that her family had never seen her since, and that we had to do our investigative detective work to assume that maybe the last time she was ever seen was the end of June backstage at that one David show. But this Ness video proves she was still alive in September of 2024, which means every theory built around her going missing in April or going missing after June or July has to be reconsidered. It drastically narrows the potential window of when she may have died, and it places her back at home, not hidden away, abducted, or deceased. It also raises new questions about why her family didn't publicly clarify that they saw her or that she returned home. TMZ reported that when the neighboring family saw Celeste that night, they just assumed she'd been found and everything was fine. So when did she go missing again? Was she just running away and coming back so much that her family couldn't keep up and just forgot? Did they just get used to her being gone for extended periods of time? Like, oh yeah, like Celeste, she just ran away again. We haven't seen her for a few weeks. 'Cause remember the first time she ran away, February 2024, they made a big deal, rightfully so. Posters, flyers, posts on Facebook. In March of 2024, when she disappeared, same thing. More posters, more flyers. They went down the road to the liquor store to find the surveillance footage. But then April of 2024, not as much. And it sounds messed up to say, but you can imagine a family, if they have a child who keeps running away and keeps not wanting to be back home, like eventually you're probably going to stop putting up the flyers.
No, this is when you started getting the payments for her. April is when you started getting the payments for her.
In the posters, especially if she periodically is coming back home. Now, the idea that David's legal team could be purposefully releasing this to help his case, I mean, yeah, that is possibly true. Well, that's what they're going to do. I mean, they're defending their own case, which logical people understand that. This doesn't necessarily clear him, but it is interesting that previously we thought the last time she had ever been seen alive was backstage at one of his shows, and now the last time that she had ever been seen alive is actually at home. But we still have 12 months of a total blackout period, essentially nothing. No photos, no videos, or anything to prove that she was alive after September of 2024 and ultimately until she was found dead September 2025. From an investigative perspective, that 12-month gap is critical because it creates a complete blackout of evidence. In any missing persons case, the period between disappearance and discovery is when investigators look for sightings, digital traces, financial activity, or even small inconsistencies that can narrow down a timeline. But with Celeste, there is basically nothing. That void doesn't point investigators towards a suspect or location. It leaves them with nothing. Now again, I am not defending.
Music is one of the best ways to express your
Not
feelings.
really.
That's
Not
why
really.
today
Not really. Not
we're
really.
gonna
Not
do
really.
something.
You have to take it. You have to. Why do you have to have a fucking guitar? See, that's the thing, right? You can't say that. You can't say it's a complete blackout because if it's a complete blackout, that means there's nothing happening, right? I get that part. There's nothing happening. However, you still have enough evidence to say something was happening beforehand in that whoever this David individual is, he has something to do with why there was no, there's no information of, where she was or what she was doing or she wasn't making any posts, this, that, and the third. All those things come into play now. Because now you have part of the timeline of when she actually, might have been deceased or that process started to happen. Now you have that timeline. If there is a blackout in any type of period, you now have we have a lead on when she possibly could have gotten murdered.
David. We do know at some point he was spending time with this 13-year-old girl, that she was running away from home to go and hang out with him. We know that they were at least friends, or maybe even potentially more than friends. But this 12 to 14 month gap between, the last time that David had contact with her and then her being dead, I mean, that blackout period, it actually makes his case stronger, because literally anything could have happened. She could have been in a different country. She could have met some other guy. She could have been dead. I mean, there's so many things that could have happened that your imagination can go anywhere. There is this one tiny thing that might be a clue. In February of 2025, David posted this TikTok on his burner account of him joking about cleaning shoes as a side hustle. He's cleaning a pair of Hello Kitty shoes, as well as a pair of white, black, and gray Jordans that seemingly match a pair that Celeste owned. Some people have interpreted this as him cleaning up his crimes. And the next clue or evidence, which honestly isn't even that strong, doesn't show up until July of 2025, which is a full year later. In July of 2025, 2 months before Celeste was found dead, another girl named Celeste was seen hanging out with David, completely confusing the story. And it starts with this video of him at an arcade. Some live streamers walked up to him, and you could see this girl on the right has her back to the camera. David grabs her arm and pulls her in towards him, and she walks backwards purposefully, keeping her back to the camera until he physically turns her around.
Don't be shy, don't be shy.
She's seen wearing what looks like the exact same Gap hoodie that was in the photos on the missing person poster. When I first saw it, I thought, wow, okay, this is definitely the missing girl. But we now know it's not. In a photo posted by one of David's friends, you can see Celeste Herrera is tagged, wearing the same thick square frame black glasses. And you can see David in the background wearing that same silk bandana. This girl is 23 years old. Here is another shot of her from the front, and you could see that this is not the same missing Celeste. Others speculated that the missing Celeste is the girl in the gray flannel in the back, but that is also untrue. That is just a friend of Herrera's named Vanessa, seen pictured here, and she goes by the Instagram username Space Doll. Now is it...
It was pretty much, this was all pretty much, remember what I said, when he got the tip of, yo, you need to clean everything up before we come arrest you. This is where he starts to build his case and have the other Celeste down, because he has been informed that he could possibly be arrested for this murder. He starts to now clean up his act with having the fake Celeste around that is of older age and of around his age now. It makes plenty sense that you only started to clean up your evidence with a fake Celeste.
It's really strange that he was hanging out with another girl named Celeste who had the same exact hoodie and looked very similar. Yes, but what it means is up to speculation. It's evident that David kept a very specific type of girl around him. Fair brown skin, dark curly hair. He even has a music video where a girl with light brown skin and dark curly hair gets murdered and thrown in the trunk of a car. Some say this was on purpose, like these were decoys or distractions so nobody could find out about the missing Celeste. And if that were true and this was all by design, now we're talking about like Dahmer level, Bundy level, like serial killer behavior. But again, that's just speculation. I've seen people say that Celeste's friends stopped hearing from her in July of 2025 as a way to prove that she was still alive at this point, but this case is serious enough where we need irrefutable proof of that. However, the facts of this case really start to ramp up and become crucial around August of 2025. On August 5th, 2025, David performed the first show of his Withered World Tour in Del Mar, California. Upon entering the venue, fans encountered a vigil where David commemorated the death of his alter ego, Atami, which represented the subconscious evil that we all have within us, according to an interview from 2024. David expressed wanting to create an animated series surrounding his alter ego.
Then he's basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego, and the story of the manga
went like I was a detective and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments. He would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as the detective.
David has also been known to express his love for gore, at one point even saying he was addicted to watching gore videos. I like writing gory psychological drama, romantic quotes, and a lot of death, he says. He admitted that he became so desensitized to it that he would laugh at gore videos or videos of murder. Another signature part of his branding was his blood-stained shirt that he often took photos in, performed in. David's artistic branding has consistently revolved around death, violence, and psychological darkness, but he complements it with these beautiful singing ballads that make it feel poetic and romantic rather than purely grotesque. This isn't necessarily new at all. Tons of super famous artists like XXXTentacion, My Chemical Romance, Trippie Redd, Nine Inch Nails have pursued a similar artistic direction. However, now people are looking at his branding as almost him hiding in plain sight. At the opening night of the Withered tour, David's fans were greeted with an elaborate setup that included a casket being wheeled out of a hearse. Inside, the casket sat near a wreath and a guest book where people could write notes to Atami. David's online shop sells something called the Withered Scrapbook, where his fans are encouraged to share, when do you feel like Atami takes over? What usually happens? And how does it make you feel? Another page asks fans to write a letter to Atami, talk to them like a friend or maybe an enemy, and let them know how you feel about their presence in your life.
Here's why the founders of IMI are betting on an ad platform you probably haven't thought of.
In my opinion, going to be one of the top 2.
This is a
Is that trying to say I am it? Y'all see what I'm saying? That shit like it says I am it. Like I'm scared to even look up what this Atami mean. Because it's probably just gonna come up with a definition from David. But that looks like what that says. I am it. And if it's representing anything to do with it, you know what it was all about with eating kids and devouring souls of children. Oh.
especially disturbing because during the first few weeks of this tour, the LAPD believes there was a dead girl decomposing inside the trunk of his Tesla. The residents of the Hollywood Hills community where David lived reported a Tesla sedan had been sitting on Bluebird Avenue for at least 3 weeks. They also said that the car was spotted in various places around the neighborhood in the preceding months, as far back as the end of May. Now, this seems incredibly odd. Did David not have a garage or a free parking space? Why not just park the car at his place? It's not like he was this car collector known to have multiple cars just kind of sitting around. As far as we know, this was his only vehicle. The car was officially reported to the police on August 26th as residents wanted it moved. The next day, the street was marked with white chalk around the tires, so if it was moved, the white chalk would be messed up and there would be white residue on the tire. They came back to the car on September 3rd and there was no marking on the tires, therefore it never moved, so they issued a ticket. Then 2 days later the car was still not moved, so on September 5th it was officially towed at 10:20 a.m. However, 3 days after it was towed, on September 8th, 2025 at 12:30 p.m., officers responded to a report of a foul odor coming from the impounded vehicle at the Hollywood tow lot on North Mansfield Avenue in LA, and that's when they found the decomposing body. Many people have come to the conclusion that David left this car, or someone else left this car, on the street with her body in there. But if her body was decomposing in the trunk for days or weeks in the hot Los Angeles summer, wouldn't the stench be apparent? Multiple different people were likely around this car. Residents maybe walked their dogs by the car. They knew that the car was suspiciously parked there for weeks. It bothered them enough to report it, and obviously the tow truck driver had to connect the car to the tow truck, thus being pretty close to it, and nobody had reported an odor at that point. I mean, maybe it's possible that the plastic bag or multiple plastic bags that were holding the body had masked the...
No, well, we got evidence now. Well, not evidence. We got confirmation now. Neighbors did definitely smell a odor coming from the vehicle. Confirmation that there were people at the house where David was when they were shooting the video. Somebody smelled the odor.
The smell, and yeah, maybe if the trunk was airtight, I suppose the odor couldn't have leaked out. But then once it was towed, the body may have gotten tossed around and sort of seals were broken and fumes were exposed. When scanning the area, you can see that the car was suspiciously parked in the perfect place. Almost all of these houses have massive privacy hedges, so even if these houses have cameras, they likely can't see what's going on in the street. The car was parked in such a specific place that only one house across the street could have gotten a video of it, and that's only if they had a camera near the roof. Police searched for surveillance video in the Hollywood Hills area where David's Tesla was abandoned. Multiple residents who live on the block recalled LAPD sweeping the area and talking with every neighbor they can track down to see if there's a ring camera or surveillance video showing David's car. The neighbor who called to have the car towed also spoke to police and turned over footage. I don't think we are going to get a perfect video that solves this case. The best we are likely going to get is a video from a house down the street or around the corner that just tells us potentially the last time that the car was driven in the general area. But that would be a major discovery, because if we know when the last time that car was driven, we can potentially rule David in or out as being the driver, since he was on tour around the time it was reported. Like, for example, if the car was driven any time after August 6, 2025, then it wasn't David that drove the car. That doesn't necessarily mean he isn't involved, because
we now
since
know
this is a
who drove
Tesla,
the car.
it's
We now know who drove the car, though. That would be Marky Mark, because he made the confession to who drove the car. Marky Mark did. The security guard drove the car.
likely the car was stolen or even broken into. Teslas are some of the least stolen cars in America, and that's basically because the car is a computer, which also brings up so many other questions. Those cars track everything. They have cameras everywhere. They have satellites that are constantly taking in information and reporting other information. You can even get a notification on your phone when the trunk is opened. We have to assume the LAPD is looking into his Tesla account. No?
You know what I didn't think about? You know what I didn't think about though? I didn't think about this. I didn't think about the fact that this is also, we're talking about a self-driving car. So maybe it is very possible that he sent specific GPS directions to that vehicle. And if you do have it on your phone and you have the ability to put the vehicle in park from your phone, think about that as well. That technology exists on the Tesla. Have it drive to a certain location and have it actually park. You can actually do that with a Tesla. I didn't even think about that till now.
Then it's doing a lot of recording of video footage.
Everything. They have cameras everywhere. They have satellites that are constantly taking in information and reporting other information. You can even get a notification on your phone when the trunk is opened. We have to assume the LAPD is looking into his Tesla account. No?
Well, it's all going to depend on if Sentry mode was turned on. Because if Sentry mode was actually activated on the vehicle, then it's doing a lot of recording of video footage from its 8 external cameras. And so if that was the case, then you'd actually have clips of the people opening the door, a clip of someone opening the trunk, and that could possibly be recovered by the police. Now, if Sentry mode's not turned on, then it's not going to be doing any of those recordings. And what you'll get is recordings when the vehicle's in motion versus when it's stationary.
LAPD Captain Scott M. Williams says, "We know that the Tesla had been parked at the location from which it was towed for several weeks, so it is very likely Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been dead for several weeks prior to her body being discovered, which supports the theory that it could have happened before he went on tour on August 5th.
Now, David was supposed to be starting his Withered tour on July 30th, 2025. That is according to original merch.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, that's why I said that there's no such thing as a blackout gap. If you see the timeline of when she was actually found, compare that to when he was on tour. Now you scratch that out, right? That's the end space of it. The beginning space would be, or should I say the beginning part in between that space would be the timeline of their relationship. Right? Would it not be? In that space that you're talking about is blank. You now have
the easy way to see the timeline of when this young girl was unfortunately murdered. You can literally see it. September 2024, she was just at home arguing in front of her damn house. That means around 2025, the beginning of 2025, and you see what he says on his shirt, February to August 2025, or just on his shirt, on his Atami flyer, it literally says February to August. Literally says February to August. Which means Celeste was more than likely deceased by February. And just so happened to not be found until when? The summer. Which, like we said already, the body was there for weeks, possibly months. He was driving around with the shit. It became a known smell so much that the fucking neighbors had to think that here was the other part, right? The body was there so damn long that a dog had died. They thought the dog that they buried, they didn't bury enough and was smelling. That's how long the body was there. So long that following after the dog got dug up to see if they didn't dug him deep enough, he had a video shooting. They said the same thing. Yo, it's a smell coming from somewhere. Oh no, I just took a shit. The fuck you? This body was long deceased in this trunk. Way before he took it to the parking lot. Like I said, the timeline is there.
That he put out for this tour. He was supposed to perform in San Francisco on July 30th. He was supposed to perform in Phoenix, Arizona on August 1st, and then was supposed to perform in Del Mar, California on the 2nd and on the 5th. The first 3 shows, however, were canceled. He didn't start his tour on July 30th. He instead started the tour on August 5th, 6 days late.
The medical examiner's office said the victim is a female who wore a tube top, black leggings, a yellow metal chain bracelet, and stud earrings. She had wavy black hair and weighed approximately 71 pounds. The day before her body was found, September 7th, was actually her birthday, so she technically never turned 15 years old. David posted a selfie that day with a Hello Kitty shirt on. Despite potentially being a suspect in a homicide case, David still performed at his show in Minneapolis, Minnesota on September 9th, 2025. That same day, Crocs and Hollister dropped David from its Dream Drop collection, which launched just 6 days earlier. Less than 24 hours after the body was
Could you use up to $800? Find it at BioLife. Up to $800 is waiting for you.
found in her car. Remember, Celeste's identity had not been revealed to the public just yet, and none of the information you now know was revealed. This comment shows up on Reddit. This guy is a pedo from what I've heard. My sister, who is now in 9th grade, told me that he was dating an 8th grader, let's call her C, and she would go on trips with him to LA. They're all in 9th grade, and it turns out C's friends knew and he would pay them to keep their mouths shut. C has been missing for over a month now, and no one knows her whereabouts. Definitely something strange going on. Celeste, whose name starts with C, was 13 to 14 years old, which would make her an 8th grader. Plus, remember, we had gone over evidence that was later revealed of David allegedly paying off someone who caught the two together, which is extremely interesting, and it reveals that even sort of random, regular people knew about what was going on, and that David was romantically involved with a child, but kept quiet. The cause of the teen's death is still classified as deferred. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet determined the cause or the manner of Miss Rivas Hernandez's death. That's also why there hasn't been any arrests yet. It remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. They are still waiting on toxicology reports to determine if there were substances in her system. Robbery homicide detectives served a search warrant at the home David was renting. On September 17th, 2025, several items of evidence were recovered from the home, including his computer, and will be analyzed by detectives. Investigators also searched the home for blood. LAPD's Scientific Investigation Division took part in the 12-hour search of David's home, using luminol to look for trace amounts of blood. Luminol is a chemical spray investigators mist over floors, walls, or objects in a darkened scene. If it contacts the iron and hemoglobin, which are red blood cells, even in tiny, cleaned, or diluted traces, it produces a brief blue-white flow that reveals hidden blood stains for photography. However, they did not state officially whether or not they found any blood in his place. An immediate neighbor in Hollywood said he saw David and Celeste all the time and believed they had lived together at the home. They were pretty quiet. I never saw police there and didn't hear them partying or anything. Nothing wild. I last saw them a couple of months ago. I'm not sure, but I thought they were just kids, like a couple aged 18 and 19. Celeste's former science teacher was seen taking out his phone and informing students that he had taught Celeste years earlier.
Remember this video we found? Of the guy that said, yo, this was a student of mine. And he had learned about the singer David through the child missing. And this was before her body was found. This was a year before the body was found. When she first went missing, he made a video of it. Like, yo, this girl's been missing off and on all the time. Does anybody know this singer David or...
Earlier, the teacher was teaching a lesson on the dangers of social media and used her as an example.
That's her in my classroom in front of this poster right here. Okay, hold up. I got another one because I got a picture on TMZ of this other kid exchanging stuff with the rapper who we alleged did this stuff. Hold on a second because...
Oh, no, wait. My bad. I forgot. This was recorded after the fact. There's reports of... Well, there wasn't video footage, but we had saw in the Discord that this teacher had knew about Celeste missing a year beforehand. So this video, I believe, was recorded when they found out the news of Celeste's body.
He's also in my classroom.
Wait, how long ago was this?
We all just found out yesterday who it was, but she's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again in May of that year, May of 2024. That's when her friends told me what happened, that it was this rapper. And then I found out yesterday that she's now dead in that rapper's car, cut into pieces. You want to know how they met? I feel like I just said it. Social media.
Someone interested in the case found and contacted Matthew, who was Celeste's brother, on Instagram. The person questioned why David followed Matthew. He replied, "He found my account out of nowhere and followed me." He also said that he met David once. When asked if the family knew about Celeste dating David and living at his home, Matthew said, "I knew and went to the police about it, but lack of evidence, so it was waived off." Matthew also said that David would tell Celeste that he was waiting until she turned 18 to get married, which could make the ring on Ye Wahoo's finger some sort of promise ring.
Crazy work right there. Slugs of Truth, what's going on? Dana, what's going on? What's going on?
Matthew was unaware of all of the resurfaced Discord messages. He confirmed that a number of the photos circulating on the internet are of his sister and David. He also confirmed that leaked text messages between Celeste and her friend are real, where Celeste talks about activity with David. She wrote, "I only bled with David." And then she says, "With Gus, I was just drunk and did it because he got mad at me the first time for not having X with him." Matthew said these texts were real because he knows who Gus was. He lived in Elsinore, California and was killed by gun violence. More deleted user Discord messages were revealed that show someone, potentially Celeste, admitting to losing their virginity at age 11. Now there are so many more rumors, hearsay, rabbit holes, but I tried to include all of the facts along with reasonable speculation or leads that have a decent source. There is nothing wrong with asking questions and tracking down leads, but it starts to feel like people want to be a part of a Netflix crime documentary style expose more than just reasonable, logical concern for a young girl. There was a guy on Reddit who said he lives near David and started scoping out the place, allegedly finding a discarded Tesla key.
I remember when this fool did this shit. I was like, you big dummy. Why didn't you have gloves on? You just picked up the key and put your own fingerprints on it. You fucking idiot.
Suggesting it may have been David's. He did report it to the police. There's also rumors that David was paying Celeste's family $20,000 per month to keep quiet. There was a straight up lie that the FBI had a warrant out for the arrest of David's bodyguard. There's always the classic, she was a Hollywood Illuminati sacrifice for David. There's rumors that she was
Apparently you can go from 0 to a complete site in just a single prompt with Wix Harmony. I don't know if this is going to be possible. Or Vibe
being trafficked. Every girl that loosely resembles Celeste around David is being pointed out, and people are speculating if it's her or not. The most unfortunate part about this case is because of so little evidence being released to the public, along with Celeste not being seen for months before she died, technically any theory you want to come up with can't necessarily be counted out. You could essentially make anything up, and there isn't that much evidence to prove you wrong. She could have been locked in a basement. She could have been trafficked around the world. She could have accidentally overdosed on drugs, and this was a sloppy attempt to discard her remains. This could have been extremely disturbing, premeditated serial killer style murder. She could have ran off with an entirely different person. It could be someone David was friends with, loosely knew, kinda knew, met one time, didn't know. It feels like we know so much, but so little at the same time. Right now, the most important thing is finding any proof of her being alive between the dates of September 2024, which was the last time she was seen alive at home in Lake Elsinore, California, and September 2025 when she was found dead. Anything in that time period will get us closer to understanding when, how, and maybe why she was killed. And obviously anything surrounding this car. The Tesla data will get us so much closer to solving this, as well as knowing how much David may or may not be involved, because right now he has not been arrested. He has canceled all of his shows around the world, and he's been radio silent on social media. And you would think that this is surely the end of his career, but the exact opposite has happened. Originally, his labels had paused all promotional activities related to David out of respect for the seriousness of the situation and the ongoing investigation, but his music streaming numbers increased tremendously. His album Petals to Thorns re-entered the Billboard 200 Hot Albums chart. He earned his biggest streaming day of all time on Spotify on September 21st with 12.1 million streams. As of right now, this case has helped his career and probably got him a ton of new fans who genuinely couldn't care about his crimes. I mean, R. Kelly still has millions of monthly listeners. David has also retained attorney Blair Burke to represent him. Burke is a prominent Hollywood defense attorney known for taking on high-profile clients in the midst of a crisis, especially men accused of misconduct ranging from assault to domestic.
Which is kind of crazy that his last name is Burke and hers is Burke too. That's kind of crazy in itself.
Violence. Burke's list of clients has included Harvey Weinstein, Johnny Depp, Marilyn Manson, Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson. At the absolute worst case scenario, David is involved with or committed the murder of a child. Best case scenario, which is still horrible, is that he had a relationship with a child that was 6 years younger than him. But it seems unlikely that he is entirely innocent and had absolutely nothing to do or no connection or no...
The thing is, right?
knowledge of the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
So that 21 million streams was all because of that romantic homicide video and that song. That romantic homicide, and then the song Celeste. Like, he has a song called Celeste. Like, bruh. The man had a song called Celeste. They even had a video adaptation of it. He even made a video. I don't want to see that shit though. But they the girl that from the video spoke out as well. So let's from video response. See, really? I'll just do this then. Okay, fine. Let's do this then. Okay. Maybe I'm typing in the wrong thing. Where is this damn girl? Where is this girl? Where is this girl? Something about her name. The girl from the music video actually did a response video. And I don't know why it's giving me a hard time trying to find it now. Oh, there it is.
Hey everyone, my name is Cassidy Clark. I was in the Here With Me music video when I was 18 years old, and I'm going to talk about it. I submitted for the job via casting networks and I got casted. It was a 12. I submitted for the job via casting network music video when I was 18 years old, and I'm going to talk about it. I submitted for the job. I was in the Here With Me. I was in
Here With Me. Here With Me. That's what it was. Your tip. Why would you move the mute button? They just literally moved the mute button in real time. Y'all saw that. But that's the girl right there, pretty much. And everybody was like, well, damn, there's a little Celeste lookalike in the video. In a couple of his damn videos, he had a Celeste lookalike. That was the weirdo shit about this whole thing, was like the lyrics, the lookalike of Celeste in the videos. It was like, it couldn't have been any more obvious.
in the Here With Me music video when I was 18 years old, and I'm going to talk about it. I submitted for the job via casting networks and I got casted. It was a 12-hour shoot, very low pay, non-union job. I met David's whole family. His whole family was there because he was a minor at the time. I was 18, he was 17. And when you're a minor working on set, you have to have your guardian, one guardian present, but his whole family was there. I met his younger sister, who is probably now around the same age as Celeste would be. And he has a younger brother as well. During the shoot, I played his girlfriend, and that was that. We followed each other on Instagram just for the sake of, oh, you shot with me for 12 hours. We might as well follow each other on Instagram. We honestly didn't really get along that well. I would say I'm pretty outgoing, and we just really didn't click. If anything, I felt like I was kind of bickering with him. But that's besides the point. The reason why I'm making this video is because I've gotten quite a few messages of people asking me if I have anything to do with this, if I know what's going on. And I just wanted to put an end to it. I do not associate with David by any means. I'm an actor. I literally have nothing to do with him. I did it for a job. I did it for a check. I didn't know who David was. I don't follow him on Instagram anymore. I'm going to remove him as a follower. And I think that he deserves even more than what's happening to him right now. He's a monster, and I do not associate with him by any means. I'm not making this video to make this about me. I'm making this video to put an end to my association with David. Like I said, I've been getting countless amount of messages, comments, stuff like that. I know this video is going to get the same thing, but at least I'm saying I don't associate with David, and all justice to Celeste Rivas and her family. I don't associate with David by any means. David Burke, I don't associate with you. And thanks for listening. Bye. Hey everyone, my name is Cassidy Clark. I was in the Here With...
So yeah, that was pretty much her response on this whole thing here. It's 3:00 in the morning on the East Coast. It's 2 over here. I kind of want to just make something about the about this situation, because I want this to be the last time I talk about this situation. Pretty much, this will be the last time I talk about the David situation until something further happens. Like I said, I briefly talked about it when he got arrested. Now that he's being charged and convicted and things like that, we read the complaint last time on live. It just bothered me how many people were trying to, make new content of, oh, the parents were paid off. The parents knew the whole time. They knew the whole time. Yes, they knew the whole fucking time. And you would have knew the whole fucking time too if you did some damn research 6-7 months ago when the rest of us did. But you want to jump on the bandwagon now because everybody else making content about it. Fuck out of here, man. Anyway, like I said, that's really what I wanted to vent about tonight. Was it just too much of everybody trying to make, everybody trying to make content. Yeah, it is sad. It's very sad. It's a very sad situation. It's a very sad situation that everybody's trying to make content out of it. And it bothers me, like I said, the people that didn't do the actual research on this situation because of human trafficking. I keep saying this before. I did the research on this because it was human trafficking. And because, like I always say this before, it's a $150 billion business. $150 billion business annually. That an employee pretty much got loud and got caught and is being dismissed now. He's being relieved now of his duties. And it's an unfortunate situation because human trafficking is going to continue to go on. And at the source of things, that's never going to be taken away. That's the worst part about it. And with Celeste Rivas, very unfortunate situation as far as her parents are concerned. And like I keep saying this, fuck the sympathy. Fuck having sympathy for the parents when it comes to this. Fuck having the sympathy because you took actual payments. It wasn't like she was being held for ransom. You guys were taking transactional payments for your daughter being in his possession. Bottom line. You took money for your daughter being in his possession. Bottom line. And you knew it. You knew where she was. All the missing bullshit. You knew where she was. Have police in neighborhoods looking for a daughter that you knew you was taking money from. Fuck out of here with your sympathy. You won't talk to press because you know the fucking truth. You just as fucking accountable as David is. Whole damn bit. All of y'all as accountable as David is. The sister too. Y'all just as accountable. Regardless of poverty and which y'all came from and situations and things like that. I understand being hard out there. It ain't that hard. It ain't hard enough to where y'all gotta sell off y'all family members because y'all see what happens at the results. And on that note, I'm gonna get my ass on out of here. And I thank all y'all for tuning in. Slugs of Truth. What had happened was Dana, who else is up in here? Too Much Reality, Artist Mayor, King Ozma, Swayze World. Love y'all. Thank y'all, family, for being in here. And of course, we're going to leave on out of here the same way we tune in. Keep your third eye open and your head on the swivel. Remember, fact is never motherfucking fiction. And I'm out this beer. Till next time. Peace.
That shit right there gonna be so clean. Be so cool. Be so cool. That shit right there gonna be so clean. Be so cool. Be so cool. Never heartbreaker, taste love, a heart saver, a heartbreaker that awaken his God layer. True art maker, hand soul, no part taker. Walker upon styles, my style, I Darth Vader, my cognac, I sit back and sit that. Family doing good in the present, my gift rap, I'm fine. Staying out for the lows, I was used to. Like robbing off a plan, niggas sell trying to boost you. High appraisal value on the Jews up in talk. Guaranteed you get the itis on my food for thought. Just digesting the fact, now I got fruits of labor. This melanin pomegranate, I'm your newest flavor. Tell my newest hater, stay with the lesser than, I'm due for greater. Breaking down trees is what I used to do for paper. I look around how it's going right now. I gotta look up and think about like, wow. In me, I fall away when good finding my way alone. And if your misery love company, I'm thinking home. Straight chillin', chillin', straight chillin', chillin', yeah. And I fall away when good finding my way alone. See if your misery love company, I'm thinking home. Straight chillin', chillin', yeah. Straight chillin'.
See little shit like that. Let's further know what it is you really do.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.